Hello my beautiful badgers, Messi Coder back again with another live dev interview. This time it's with Unity 2020 award nominee Adam Goodrich from Procedural Worlds with what was the largest ever reveal in Unity history for Procedural Worlds. We were playing about with GeNa Pro before it got released, the night of its release. It was amazing. All the w.twitch.tv/themessycoders where this interview took place as part of my 12 Days to Christmas, where every day leading up to Christmas I am interviewing different amazing game and asset developers as well as awesome streamers. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a moment. Not sure if you've seen my wonderful Christmas landing page. If I go down here to 12 days, we see that on the 17th we've got Code Respawn, who does Dungeon Architect, who is a previous winner back in 2016, and we've got Reign of Darkness, which is being made by someone you might know, a certain Brian.
Yes, he's one of the dodgy people in our crew.
Which is the best way to describe him. And then we've got Scene Fusion, who are made by Kinematic Suit. So Kinematic Suit are coming on, and they heavily used by Cincy Studios for doing their amazing scenes. And people ask them, how do you make these amazing demo scenes? That's because they've got like 3 or 4 people working on them at the same time. Have you tried Scene Fusion? Because you're obviously Procedural Worlds making these massive worlds. Have you used something like Scene Fusion to allow your teams to be working on these huge worlds at the same time?
I have used. I know the team there, and I've used it in the past. But most of the time, we have people working in parallel on different products, and we tend to spend more time building the underlying tech than actually having the fun of assembling worlds.
So you don't get to enjoy playing with the Lego as much as you have to make the Lego itself.
No, there's actually a product where it's in prototype and design at the moment, where we want to be able to allow people to actually create emergent experiences at runtime, and it's all about composition and user-generated content. So at that point, I think we start to get to have more fun in doing stuff that actually does something rather than something that looks pretty and sits in the background.
Oh, nice. We're not going to be playing with that today, though, are we?
Well, you'll actually see some of this today. It's only the first hint of what's coming, but we're pretty excited by it. And in GeNa Pro, we've got more that we haven't put into this release because it's just not quite ready yet. So anyway, we'll show you some of that stuff, and eventually us devs that all we do is write scenes and create environments, we'll actually start to get to play in them as well. In fact, we'll show you Connect as well. That's a pretty cool product that's coming out too.
Oh, there you do. There he is with the toys. It's coming out to show some toys. Because you told me. You've bigged this up, Adam. You've bigged this up.
Yeah. A little bit of hype doesn't hurt anybody.
Well, didn't you say this is the biggest reveal that you ever you've done so far?
Well, actually, it is. When you think about the range of things we're going to show off today, obviously the latest Gaia Pro, the GeNa Pro, which should launch later on today. We're going to show Connect, which is our sort of social experience / MMO with a click product. We're going to show Storm, which has our new acceleration product. And we'll also show the output of Gaia Geospatial, which is a new product that ingests and then does lovely things with the real world.
That's great.
So, yeah, in terms of actual public showcase of our stuff, it's the biggest one ever by a long shot.
That is nuts. I mean, you've just, the people sitting here, they're like, because it's getting on late in Europe, and people were going to go to bed, and they decided, you know what, maybe it might be worth staying up, and they are being rewarded, aren't they? Really, let's be honest, they're being rewarded.
Absolutely. And just maybe there's some vouchers or something we can give out as well.
Adam, did you say the word voucher? Did you say prizes? Did you say gifts?
Well, why not? It's Christmas, isn't it?
So, are you giving away 3 copies of Origami?
No. Well, actually, sort of we are, because we actually brought a lot of the tech, or some of the tech, from Origami into GeNa Pro. And for the first time, you'll actually see the power of this stuff. Very, very excited about it.
Well, Gaz was just subscribed. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, sub. I've got people now so excited. Their fingers are slipping and they're subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for this,
That's
sub.
fantastic. Yeah, well, they should be. They get to see all this awesome stuff thanks to you.
Well, thanks to you for coming on.
Yes.
And
well, shall we show you some awesome stuff?
So do you want because we're on Skype now. Bugger me sideways. We're on Skype. Do you know what? Can you share your screen on Discord and keep the audio going on Skype?
I will. Yeah, we can try that.
Because for some bizarre reason, Skype has stopped working on the Discord on the OBS.
Let's give it a crack.
So let's try.
So if you want to join, then we can mute.
Yeah, let's do that. And for some bizarre reason,
this is a wicked little.
Can somebody give me an exclamation mark proc worlds? Oh yes, I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to do 2 things. Okay, I forgot. And we can edit it later in the editing suite. I can go and say, everyone's sitting at home in front of your Google Watches, your Amazon Mirrors, your Alexas, your fancy microwave PCs. Give a warm and messy welcome to Adam Goodrich, the god of procedural worlds. And Adam, this is the part where you say thank you for inviting me onto the show.
Oh, thanks, mate. We've been working crazy hours to get this stuff ready to show today, so I'm a bit tired. Thanks, mate. Yeah, happy to be here as usual. Been talking for a while now, haven't we?
See, now we can edit that in the editing suite, and it looks like it's professional. However, because I'm an idiot, I will actually keep it in to the middle as well. So people will be watching it, and then there'll be the intro again. Hang on a minute, why are we getting the intro again? He's already done the intro. Doesn't make any sense. It's all smoke and mirrors. We knew it was a scam.
Yes.
So
there's some people definitely think that. That's for sure.
Well,
all right, let's go, man.
Let
me show you some cool stuff.
I don't have your invite onto the share screen on the Discord though.
Wait, just try calling me and then I'll share my screen.
Okay, let's try that again. So, onto there. I'm muted.
Join the call and then
yourself.
mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
I'm muted.
Share yourself.
Share myself.
Karen Wigwam says, will you put this on YouTube? Yes, I will. And actually, I have to wait 48 hours. I was supposed to upload Connect's video today, but I was working. Obviously, I'm not going to bunk off work as well as doing a late night stream because that would be super naughty. So what I will do is after I will be uploading Connect's one, then I'll upload Harry Alisavakis's, then I upload the 2 from Sinti and Klexors, then I'll upload the 3 of today, then I'll upload the next days and the next day, like that. So you have to do 48 hours. So by the time, if I do it staged, then it times it perfectly. That sounds like a plan, doesn't it, Adam?
Sounds brilliant, mate.
And
let's have one.
I've still got, here we go, Discord chat window and popped out window. I've still got Unity running in the background. So if I close Unity, wrong, Discord chat window, here we go, super chat popped out. There we go. It's your Unity I'm seeing, not my Unity.
Hey, there it is.
There it is.
All right. Here's that scary scene that we all see when we first open up Unity for the first time. What the hell we're going to do?
Although it's nice now that it's the dark theme without having to hack it or pay for it.
Yes. All right. So on my screen, that's coming through okay as I see it streaming back via Twitch.
I'm very excited. I'm actually rubbing my hands together, giddy with excitement.
All right, so shall I show you some stuff?
Do so. Make it so, number one.
Make it so. All right, so we have been hugely busy, and we've got lots of things all going on in parallel. Gaia Pro is our main hero product.
That's the one that's up for the award, I'd like to say.
That's the one that's
awards.unity.com. If you haven't yet, please visit.
Please vote for us. It would be nice to win one.
Have you not won an award yet?
No, we've been nominated. This is our third award that we've been nominated for, which is rather cool. The original version of GeNa was nominated and was a finalist. Then CTS was a finalist, and now Gaia Pro is a finalist. And then maybe GeNa Pro will get a crack next year. Who knows?
So you're basically the Meryl Streep of the asset world.
What's that?
You're the Meryl Streep of the asset world.
That's right. It's the,
You're constantly getting nominated for an Academy Award, but you're never winning one.
Yes, I was speaking with a friend, and he goes, "Oh yeah, these other products are really good." Going, "Well, thanks for the vote of confidence, mate."
Oh, your friends are.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, so Gaia Pro, we this next release. So where we're going with the company is we're building a suite of tools, and we want to take support not only in the gaming industry but other industries as well. So what you might have seen happening in Gaia Pro is there is more and more support for large environments, and so we've done a lot of work about organizing and optimizing your environments so you can stream them, and streaming is obviously a feature of Gaia Pro, and in this next release streaming's been given a lot more love. And then GeNa Pro is also designed to work in these large-scale environments as well. That's because sitting behind all of this is Gaia Geospatial. In Gaia Geospatial, the intention of this product is to be able to ingest anywhere in the world and deliver the same rich quality that you can get with Gaia and GeNa. So basically to decorate those worlds with really rich and beautiful content. So in order to make Gaia API-driven and GeNa API-driven, we've now actually got Gaia Geospatial up and running, and I'll show you a little bit later a demo of an environment we've created with that. But the intention is, when you look at mapping systems, often the metadata you get is very poor quality, and the render that these systems give you is also very poor quality.
Oh, you get so you used to call them spikies, and they don't look great. They're either it turns your terrain looking funny, or it just puts like a bad texture over your map that looks really dodgy.
Yes. So like the road system I'll demonstrate in GeNa Pro, it might not look like much, but actually a huge amount of development has gone into that, because actually making roads that are capable of replicating the real world is really, really difficult. So when you're using a mapping system, if you think of Los Angeles and the underpasses and the overpasses and these crazy road systems, supporting that inside of a game engine is really difficult. So this release of GeNa Pro has the first version of our road system, and it's something we'll be putting a lot more effort into.
There's a lot of assets out there that are trying to do roads well, and they either it either breaks when it gets complex, or they cheat and they use smokes and mirrors. Like Fantastic City Generator, I had a lot of fun with it. But it's very cunning cheating. The way it's just lots of pre-made patterns of roads, so you're restricted in the design, but you got the overpasses, the underpasses, the crossroads and stuff. But it's not something that you could just make to whatever your heart's desire, or like you're saying, take a map of a real world and replicate it. So to do that has been the holy grail, and let's be honest, everyone's failed. What makes you special?
Well, I mean,
is it really going to work?
Tenacity, perhaps. Stupidity. bloody-mindedness. Look, this first version is not where we want it to be yet, but by Unity standards, it's pretty cool, and I'll demonstrate to you. And the next release of this, we're getting our technical artists to build a whole lot of new shaders and a bunch of stuff. So the next release after this first release of GeNa Pro is where I think the road system will be a lot more solid. But for now, we wanted to get something to market, and it's still very, very powerful. And it doesn't have a bunch of the fudges you might find in other systems. Like, everything is purely procedurally generated. The intersections are basically procedurally generated. There's no funny prefabs that get dropped in and funny snap points. It's just literally define a spline and away you go.
And there's a few. We chatted with people in chat. Remember, I had a group podcast type event where Adam was on, Dennis was on from Voxelland and Map Magic. We had also the creator of Mad Maps on, who made Hurt World, if I recall the name of the game. And he's had a road tool inside his texture or terrain asset system. And like you're saying, the crossroads are a prefab, and that's why I mentioned, like, a lot of people have tried to do this, but they've had to resort to the easy way out to avoid all of the complexities, because your customers will end up finding a way to break it, and if they don't, I will. Are you worried that this asset is going to add a level of complexity? Because let's be honest, and let's be 100% honest to everyone in chat, the worst thing that ever happened to procedural worlds, in my opinion, was the Humble Bundle. And I think Adam's come on and mentioned about this before, that it dropped basically. If you're getting an asset of the complexity of Gaia for free, which is effectively what the Humble Bundle was, you're paying like $20 and you're getting $5,000 worth of assets. So you're getting Gaia for free. Your knowledge of game development is probably zero, because you're being marketed to by Humble Bundle as, get into game development, you don't need to learn anything, here's a load of assets to get you started. And then somebody gets it, immediately they don't understand it because it didn't make a MMO for them with one click, and they 1-star it. The more complex an asset is, the more chance you're going to get didn't install 1 star, didn't make my game for me 1 star. I made 6 roads connecting on a hill, going into a lake. One of them was a bit bendy, 1 star. Is this a real concern of yours? Well,
and Gaia Pro and GeNa Pro, they're both exceptionally deep products. This latest version of GeNa Pro borrows from about 6 months development in origami. It's essentially a complete rewrite of the original GeNa. It introduces things like GPU compute-based terrain carving and all this other stuff. So it borrows, aspects of tech from Gaia. And one of the challenges is, and we get this all the time, I get a 1-star review because some dude couldn't download and install Gaia from the asset store, and I'm going, well, Jesus, what can we do about that? And we get a range of interesting reviews where I just think, dude, that's actually a reflection of you, not a reflection of us. A guy just recently couldn't install it on a Mac, so he demanded a refund. I'm like, well, my product, you haven't validated that our product's not working. And actually, that Humble Bundle was an interesting experience, because we sold about 30,000 licenses in 7 days or something like that. So as you mentioned, a lot of people came flooding in. So support was overwhelmed. And you had those people that don't even have the basics of Unity then reviewing your product. And I guess it's just the nature of being an asset store publisher. What we try to do, I suppose, is, we've got Brian who helps out with support, so we've got a full-time support person. And I would say probably 60%, maybe 70% of our support is actually basic Unity support. So we try and help, but yeah, it's one of those.
I think honestly, I'm going to say that one of the best decisions you did was getting someone like Brian in. And people are like going, come on, his screen's frozen, it hasn't moved. Yeah, we're going to get into it. But you know, we're building you up. But one thing that everyone knows is that I'm fair, I am impartial, I befriend a lot of people because honestly, I like people. I don't like human beings. I want us all to be replaced by robots. But on an emotional level, I like people. And the most important thing is respect. You need to have respect, and if people earn respect, you don't just get it. So you know, I respect a lot of the asset publishers, people who come and try to make things, and Adam knows. You know, I respect you, Adam. And I hope that comes across, and I feel like I'm very fair with my criticisms. And when I say the best thing that Adam could have possibly done is hire somebody else to handle the customer support for Procedural Worlds, because Adam is as close to being able to give birth to products as he can be. You're emotionally connected to your assets, and I have seen a few of your responses on the asset store and on the forums where let's just say you don't reply to the asset store at 3 o'clock in the morning when you've been working on crunch, and you needed to distance yourself because like a celebrity, like an artist, you only ever read the bad stuff. You never acknowledge and absorb the good feedback. It's like you see a negative feedback, and that's the thing you focus on. And because you've separated that to someone like Brian, who's able to more clinically handle that, the classical customers always right kind of like feedback and response to professional response that allows you to focus on the important stuff and the stuff that you enjoy, making the assets and enjoying going to work again. Because this is my advice to everyone in chat. And I'm not just saying this, but because I'm bashing on Adam's previous comments on the forums, which I found impartially to be hilarious at times. It's they're eating popcorn, like watching an event kicking off. Like, this is going to be great. They're going to start punching each other in a minute. But if you're making an asset, you are emotionally connected to that. It's yours, and I've been there before. Okay, and if you're making a product, making a game, whatever, you need to focus on the stuff that you're enjoying, because as soon as you start going down that route of customer support, managing bugs and feedback of people's negative complaints, I couldn't install it, couldn't get it to work on a Mac, I want my money back. It drains your positivity slowly, and it drains that desire you have to keep on waking up and working on your product. And suddenly you find yourself like you've got this apathy and lethargy that you can't work on it anymore. You've burnt yourself out. So and I've seen a lot of asset developers do this now. Outsource, get somebody in to help you. Do the stuff, the messy, good cop, bad cop, so you can focus on the stuff that makes your products great. And we see this now. And honestly, Adam, I've seen a change in as Procedural Worlds has grown in size. We're reaping the benefits of that, and obviously we're only seeing like a small percentage of the work that Procedural Worlds does. Let's be honest, we all know this in chat, and Adam has said this numerous times that he's been on for interviews. The asset store is not going to earn the money of the hours it costs to make these assets. And there's people in chat who are like, I'm not paying $300 for an asset. It's ridiculous. It's a rip-off. Let's be honest. It's probably cost them a couple of $100,000 or $500,000 at least to get to this point of the suite of products they've got. So there's obviously a bigger picture. And as you said, there are industrial cases for these assets. So I say this now. I'm glad that we're getting origami in little pieces that we can mooch off in Gaia and GeNa Pro. So there you go. I've said my thing, and now I hand back over to Adam to wake up.
All right. Well, yes. Yeah, we do a lot of cool stuff. If you look at our little customer base here, it's starting to be quite an interesting customer base. So while we've got a lot of indie customers and a huge amount of indie customers, we're working with Unity on projects. We've worked with big companies like Google and BMW and Wargaming, World of Tanks, those sorts of companies. And you see, we do a whole bunch of different sorts of things. So,
Oh, NASA. Yeah, there's NASA on there.
what's that? Yeah,
NASA.
NASA. Like, it's fascinating. So I get these requests. I can buy your product, but I can't pay sales tax. Then you look up the email address and you go, "Ooh, that's interesting." Then you sort of I do a search on Google for that email address, and I go, "Holy shit, that person is working with such and such an organization doing, I don't know, research into machine learning for navigation and all these other interesting things." So we this is like the barest, the tip of the iceberg. I am constantly surprised by the people that use our products. We also now have actually sort of, I guess, separated our products into three different markets. So there's the indie stuff, which you typically see on the asset store, and the pro, which was offering, very powerful tools, but they're still largely at indie prices. And then there's the enterprise, where we start to look at bigger projects for bigger companies. And those are the ones, it's the enterprise work that's really helped us to get to where we are. And it's a combination. So we've sort of got this interesting blend of indie and enterprise, and it's something that we want to keep going as we go forward. Now, on to Gaia. So you've all been listening very patient to us have a yak.
To us old fogies have a nada.
What's that?
Us old fogies who are having a nada, forgetting that there's other people in the room listening to us, waiting to see stuff.
That's right. That's all late. And, oh, well, you know what we say in Australia? Toughen up, princess. So, well, let's go. I'm going to show you some of the new stuff in Gaia Pro. This has come a long way, and this release is due either later this week or probably mid next week. We're going through the final modification, or just validating, that everything works on all the different render pipelines.
Oh, so are you doing the HDRP then? Because we had that in chat earlier. Like, are you HDRP?
No, because our HDRP shader conversion is still not quite complete yet. So that's
is that because Unity keep on changing what they're doing every 3 seconds?
Oh, look, it's...
Should we not get into that? Is that another 2-hour conversation?
No, it's actually HDRP, I think, is almost there. We recently had the opportunity to do some cool stuff with Unity, and the render in HDRP was amazing. In fact, one of the next big pushes for Gaia Pro in particular is HDRP, because we think it's pretty much ready to go. I mean, I'm sure there'll still be bugbears and so on, but they've stabilized the APIs a lot. And
wow,
it's actually interesting from our perspective as a publisher, because I would love to go just latest HDRP and just show what Unity is capable of. So that'll be one of our next big pushes, is let's push everything and show what Unity is actually capable of, and let's automate and make it easier for people to do that.
That's insane. That's an advertisement page if you've ever heard one. But carry on. Let's crack on.
All right. So let me just create a terrain here.
Okay.
And I'll show you
my game button.
I'm going to do a make your game in this stream. Like, I am so excited about GeNa Pro, but let's come back to this.
GeNa Pro is coming out tonight. Is that it's being released?
It's coming out later today. As long as I don't spend too much time talking to you. Yes. So that's a hurry up, isn't it? Yeah. So let's just make our little terrain here. One of the things, it's an insight that I had recently actually, is because we've got this real-time preview and you can modify your terrains with a few clicks. Essentially, even though we've given you a certain number of stamps, because you can mix and match them, every time you do this, you're essentially creating a whole new world. So here you can say I'm taking a stamp and I'm just doing a little bit of modification in the editor to create a sort of a more of a flatter area for my gameplay and the mounts itself, and then I'll just go stamp. So the first thing I'm going to show you is some of the cool new stuff in Gaia in terms of the new vegetation stuff we've been working on. So I'm just going to spawn this biome. I've created my stamp. We've sped things up a lot. We've added a whole bunch of new filters and stamp modes as well in this new release, so you can do more things with it. We're going to push this release out, and then our technical artist is going to spend a week just working on biomes, and the stuff this guy does is incredible. So we've got 2 rather nice updates coming for Gaia Pro. So let's just run this.
What was that message that came up? Was that a disclaimer to give your firstborn child to Procedural Worlds?
Don't know. I'm so used to seeing it that I don't even see it anymore. So let's press play. We just made this cool little world. Let's see what we came up with in a matter of seconds. One of the things you might notice before this actually loads is the billboards in the distance look amazing. So we've done... I know I've fallen into the water because I was placed slightly below the terrain, so now I have to just lift myself up again. In fact, rather than doing first person, I'll just regenerate with a flying camera. Actually, one of the things...
No, I do love the first person. Are you going to do a car? Do a car.
Yeah, no, I'll do a car later when we've got some roads. How's that?
I'll do, yeah. Did you hear that, chat? Roads.
Roads, yes, roads are
damn cool. Wait, can I just say, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
We need roads. Roads are cool. All right, so I'm going to run that again, and this time hopefully I won't fall through the terrain. And because we've just plugged in our fly cam instead of our first person, which got placed underneath the terrain and hence fell through the terrain. That actually happened to me the first time I tried Unity. I put the player in, and they fell through the terrain, and I'm going, what? It's amazing how hard this stuff is for somebody who's new to Unity.
Yeah, did you ask for your money back?
Well, I paid $1,500 for the privilege, I think it was, possibly more. So some of the nice improvements in this release is we've expanded the ability of the masking system and the spawning system. So here what you've got is basically some rocks with some ferns and little mushrooms and things.
Yeah,
and as I mentioned,
rocks with mushrooms next to straight away, and you don't have the grass growing under the rocks. Let's just draw attention to that.
Yeah, no grass growing under the rocks. In fact, let's go find some 3D forge stuff here. Here we go.
Can I just say, I'm going to expect there's no grass growing inside the buildings either.
No, of course there's not. In fact, look at that. There's no grass and there's no trees coming through. And the interesting thing is, even though we're actually sitting in here and we've put some trees and some grass in the yard, it's actually avoiding all the objects. So this is this new layer-based masking system we've added in Gaia Pro, which is really cool. And if we went in here, you'd find there was no grass. Yay!
Can I ask you a cheeky question?
Well, that would be out of character.
I know. Can I do this in runtime?
In Gaia, no. In GeNa, yes. Oh, that's another big bit of news, isn't it? GeNa is designed to work as well at design time as at runtime. And it's a big part of our strategy going forward. GeNa has a lot of the muscle that Gaia has. It has some different approaches to some things. And our intention is to basically move GeNa to the point where you can API control completely procedurally generated environments at runtime. And you'll see some of the stuff there in the demo when we get to it. So I'm just going to maybe change our lighting a little bit. Now it's a little bit bright here. Some nice shadows going. And then I'm going to change the weather. So this is one of the things you can see in the background is our trees. And when you look at it, it's actually hard to tell that they're actually not meshes.
Hang on, those are billboards in the background?
They are billboards.
Nah.
We've done this amazing work. And when I show you Storm, I'll show you like many billboards. And literally, you don't know that they're billboards. So we've spent a lot of time improving the billboard system so that your distant render looks good. In fact, it's really hard to tell. It's because I've told you now that you can probably see it, but you can customize all of that sort of stuff. And then, one of the other awesome things we've done with our vegetation is we've improved its wind. So if I, move this up a bit, now you can start to see that the wind is starting to pick up. And the interesting thing is when we have weather and that sort of stuff, then the weather actually works in conjunction with the wind. So your trees are blowing in a direction, your snow is blowing in a direction, and I'm just going to change the direction of the wind, and it'll start to influence the speed and the direction and all that sort of stuff. And even all of our small plants are being affected by the same wind. You'll still see the crappy billboard grass, and that's something we want to have a crack at too. In fact, if I just mute my audio there so it doesn't bother our audio. So yeah, that is one of the things we also want to bring to the ecosystem as well, is let's get rid of Unity's billboards and put nice integrated systems all working together. Another thing that's we announced our intention to deprecate CTS. So the original CTS is already deprecated, and the existing version is coming to the end of its lifetime. And what we'll be doing, and that's been an awesome collaboration between us and Nature Manufacture. So what we'll be doing with that is we'll actually be starting to do our own thing, and Bart will be doing his own thing. So for those people that have bought CTS, then if you bought it in the last 6 months, when we get our new terrain system running, then you'll get it for free. And if you bought it before that, then we'll have an upgrade process for you. But the beauty of that is then everything will be working in sync. So snow and rain and some of the other things that we've wanted to do for a while will now start to bring into this whole integrated system. So there we go. We've got.
Can you click the stats thing just for a second? So chat.
I knew you'd do that. There you go. 64 frames a second. Now this is stats. I think stats are the most misleading thing to look at ever, because your stats are purely dependent on what you do with your scene. So I could bring in my culling distances. In fact, let's do that live. Let's go into our culling settings. And let's drop the, so here's our object culling. We could maybe drop this down to say 5112 and, drop that down to 5112. And all of a sudden, what you're going to start to see is these stats will change. We're also in the middle of a storm.
Yeah.
If I wanted to actually get even better stats, I could drop some of this stuff down to, say, 50. So these are our small objects. This is something that we spend a lot of time thinking about. So now we're up to 73. We spend a lot of time thinking about how does this run. So there's a lot of sort of underlying work that's sitting in Gaia that people don't necessarily know is there, but the systems are there. And if you're more experienced with Unity, you can start to use these systems. So now we're sitting at 85. Visually, we're still looking quite nice. Let's just turn off that snow. Weather. Boop. So
your billboard trees are moving in the wind as well.
Yeah. In fact, we can even control how far back, and even the billboards, if you want them, will move with the wind. So this is rather cool, right? But now let's actually take this to the next level. One of the big things that we've, I mentioned at the start that we've talked about performance and different ways of making your scenes run better. So if I go into Guy Manager, go into Advanced, this is beautifully hidden away where nobody will ever find it. We've now got a thing called, I know, we have these internal discussions about where we put things. So we now got a thing called the Mesh Exporter. And this is only a 1x1 terrain. But what we can actually do is we can actually convert your terrain to a mesh. We can export it as an OBJ file. We can convert it to low poly. Dun, dun, dun. What is low poly?
Well,
We
you're
can
converting it
create.
to a mesh. I know that a load of people are now rushing off to 3D print these Gaia generated terrains.
Well, this is super cool. This let me actually. I'll do the low poly one first, and then I'll show you imposters. So we've thought a lot about how do you build large environments, and then how do you do different styles, and then how do you stream them, and how do you make all this work together. So one of the things you might have noticed with Gaia is, we still. I actually didn't create a multi-scene style, but everything is nicely encapsulated. So here you've got your terrain, and then everything underneath it is underneath it, right? So what we're starting to do is create streaming scenes, and everything that's to do with that scene is encapsulated within that scene. So the streaming system is basically sitting around terrains, and this is something that's new in this release, or the capabilities I'm demonstrating are new, but it's massive. So first of all, if you're making a low poly game, we can just turn this to low poly. If you want to have something where you've got massive, like 10, 20 kilometers of terrain, and you want to have long draw distances, then what we can do is we can actually create imposter terrains. And I'll give you a quick demo of that in a sec, because I'm going to show you.
Is that Procedural World's version of Amplify Imposters?
It's for terrains. What we do is so if we've got a multi-terrain scene, what we'll do is we'll actually bake everything into the terrain, and we'll create meshes. And then the streaming system basically knows the difference between Unity terrain and mesh terrain. And so it'll basically show you the low poly mesh terrains in the distance, so you get your long draw distance, and it'll show the high fidelity Unity stuff up close. I'll demonstrate it in just a sec, but first I want to talk about low poly. So let's convert this to low poly. Ding, ding, ding.
Is it going to convert the buildings as well, or just the terrain?
Just the terrain. I don't like this one, so I'm going to revert that one. Yep. And I'm going to actually change our settings. You can open up here, and it's always interesting. We have different developers that like different styles. I like the more pixelated low poly. So here you can go in and change how we're generating that for you. But let's just start that export again.
I like chat when you were describing your low res mesh in the distance, high res mesh close up. I thought of two things. I thought of the first thing, which was World Composer, and the first video that Nathaniel did of you'd make a small terrain in the middle, small in size, high in detail, and then you'd make larger terrains around it, high in size, low in detail. And then I thought of Horizon, which is another asset I purchased, thinking it would do amazing things for me without having to worry about it, and never managed to do anything with it. And chat has written, guys, now Horizon with support.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit cheeky, but I get what you're saying, because it's a lot of great assets came and have gone a bit, but haven't really progressed or moved on with all of the different changes with Unity. And you kind of there was a gaping void, wasn't there, left?
Yeah.
So it's great that asset publishers like yourselves, who have a pedigree of continuing to innovate their products, are filling that void.
Yeah. Well, so let me show you. We have, this is a pre-release version of Gaia as well, so there's still some final UX stuff. So I'm going to go back to my runtime wizard, and instead of doing Deep Blue Ocean, I'm going to choose low poly, and then just update my runtime.
By the way, in chat, if you do !awards, you can go over to Unity Awards while you're watching the stream and vote for whoever you want to win the awards.
I reckon it's a great idea, and I think you should vote for us. So I'm just going to generate that mesh once again. This is a little bit of clunkiness that's been noted, and I'm showing you stuff that's not quite launched yet. But let's start that export again.
Let's do that again. So, while you're doing that, I'd just like to remind people, if they're feeling a bit of sympathy for Procedural Worlds, they've been nominated a number of times, yet never won. So if you're wanting to hand out a Christmas present this year, why not pick a loser like Procedural Worlds and make them a winner?
Thanks, mate. That's awesome. Yes.
You're welcome.
And look, here's another loser feature. It's called supporting mobile.
Is that a red? Was that a red error in the console thing we saw? Well, so now we've gone.
That is actually a Unity bug, and we've looked at that particular error. So we do have some awesome Cintia assets, but I started with something else here. Well, you notice that terrain is a beautiful low poly terrain.
You're in Discord, so when you move, you have to stand still, and then Discord will
eventually
refresh the screen and everything. So there's an annoying thing about using Discord over Skype is that pain in the ass. But it's now. This is still. Is this now a mesh now, or is this using a shader?
So this is now a mesh, and we've sort of created a simple shader so that it runs beautifully in low poly. It shows that pixelated look. We've taken our Gaia terrain and we've basically colorized the mesh based on what was in the terrain. So whatever biome you load, however you decide to do that, this will all just work. And then in the distance here, you've got our water shader, but now it's got a pixelated low poly look.
Is that able to be animated as a water?
Yeah, if I'm up a bit closer, it probably will be.
But then again, there's no reason why you couldn't, if you were already using any other low poly water shader out there. There's no reason why you can't just drag out and pop in any other specific component to your need. That's the good thing about Gaia. It doesn't force you to use everything that it offers you. You can mix and match.
Yeah, and you can also go in and configure things as well. So I actually, I've never bothered to muck around with the water. But yeah, you can go in and change that stuff. So here's our water. It's all profile driven. And let's create a new profile. Then somewhere here. So I haven't tried to do it. So let's maybe increase that wave settings. And I don't know, increase the wave size. There you go. Look at that. Waves up the wazoo. So you can go and configure all this. It's all there. It's all, reasonably common sense. The other thing with all of our stuff is there's help embedded into it. So not only help, but often you'll have a link back to an article in our help.
Nice.
So you can go and read about it. So this is something that we do with all of our products. Often we say, oh, there's no help, there's no this, that, and the other. And the problem with even video tutorials, whenever you do these things, basically as soon as you do it, it's out of date.
Yeah.
And if we didn't do any extra work in our products, then that would be great. But we're constantly developing our things. So that's why we've actually gone this particular route with help, because we think it should be basically, something you can control yourself. All right, so that's low poly. Now let's show, and also I'm just very cognizant of time. Really, I could show you more stuff about Gaia, like the imposter.
Do you know what? We should do another one in the new year, Gaia specific.
All right.
So let's have a play with, because today's going to be GeNa's day, isn't it? Because GeNa's coming out. It's GeNa's coming out party.
Yeah, it's GeNa. This is going to be cool. This is something that I have been on tenterhooks for a long time. Gaia is awesome. GeNa is the product that it was the second major procedural product that came after Gaia, and it brought in a lot of the learnings that we had made when we were making Gaia. So now I'm going to show you GeNa and how Gaia and GeNa are actually beautifully integrated together. And that's the other thing with our stuff is whichever product you get, we think about the whole end-to-end pipeline when we're showing you stuff, when we're building this stuff. So just pop that out of the road for the moment. And I'll just change my ocean back to deep blue. So now I'm going to go back and create my little environment here, and give it a bit of scale, and then just tweak it again, just because it's how I like to do it.
While you're tweaking, I'll just tell Ankry to please play nice with Irish John. You know how he gets with water, okay? You know what he's like. Don't bait the bear. I don't want him to have a nervous breakdown on stream. Yeah, he's a beautiful little badger. Give a shout out to Irish John in chat, by the way. And Irish John, another massive Gaia and GeNa fan. Everyone loves Gaia and GeNa. Gaia and
And so,
GeNa, two lovely sisters that you like to invite round for cocktail parties because they've got lots of fun stories.
all right. So Gaia just made us a quick environment. Now let's. That's so pixelated on the stream. Well, we're just going to have to suck it up, as they say. So, now let's go into.
Today's the day of phrases. Harden up, princess. Up the wazoo and suck it up. Let's do it.
Yeah, get back in your box there, fella. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a river. So I'm going to go right-click, GeNa, add a river flow.
All right,
I'm going to control-click
let's
here.
just remind people that we're talking rivers now. They heard it correctly. River.
Rivers, yes. And in fact, I'm just going to add my ocean. Boop, boop. But great. Now we've got some ocean. And I've gone over here and I've placed I've basically left-clicked to add a river. And I'm going to go create a river flow. So what it's done is it's actually just looked at my terrain and worked out where a river would flow based on, the slope of the environment.
Oh my word.
So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a GeNa river spline. Okay. Now, the first version of the spline, this terrain is, not necessarily right for a river, even though we followed the lowest particular path. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's deep enough to have a river. So what we're going to do is we're now going to carve this river. And this is particularly cool. So I'm going to decrease the depth, maybe make it about 1 meter deep, maybe make it a bit wider. And let's mix some noise in. Actually, I'm going to put the width of the river at just the area.
I'm just going to read you out some chat while you're doing that.
All right.
GeNa's finally come of age. That's awesome. For fudge's sake. Oh, awesome. OMG, OMG. For fudge's sake, I can't stand up. I'll knock my table over. I think implying that he's got a stiffy. And what a rip snorter.
Just warmed up.
Sanyo said this already looks better than RAM. Is this going to be enough to replace RAM?
Oh, look, RAM is an awesome product. And these products do different things. Rivers is just one of the things we do with GeNa. So, if you're using RAM, awesome. It's a great product.
Exclamation mark RAM in chat. Let's just push a little bit of love that way.
Yeah, well, the other thing I think is, a good tradesman doesn't just have one tool in their belt. That's lots of tools. And the way we look at it is, GeNa is a all-round spawning system. And if you got excited by rivers, which I am excited by rivers too, by the way, you ain't seen nothing yet. So let's just go and tweak this river a little bit more. So we've carved the terrain. You can see how we've carved out a riverbed. But now we can click on the river itself and we can increase its depth. So now it fits into that area quite nicely. If I turn on, I think it's that. There you go. You can see it's flowing. Cool. But you'll notice that the colors still aren't quite right. So GeNa, in addition to having a spline system now, it has this extension system. I can drag and drop spawners onto my splines. And you see these green dots? This is where this spawner will spawn. Now, this particular spawn is going to spawn me a reflection probe. So I'll just go spawn, boop, and all of a sudden we are now reflecting off of our river quite nicely. So all of this sort of stuff that's typically a major pain in the backside to do is now all integrated. And in fact, we've integrated the rivers with Gaia's water so that you get a reasonably nice blend between the two. This is the first version of our river shader. There's a lot more we want to do. But there you go. What about the river? Is
the riverbanks modification coming in the next version? Like to change the textures of the riverbanks and stuff like that?
Yeah, so textures, we do have support for textures in GeNa, but it's more like the paintbrush on terrain. We intend to use the same GPU accelerated tech. So, and I'll actually, if I show you, if I click on this one, so this is it's GPU compute driven, and well, Go back here.
Now show us a
In
low
fact,
poly version of the river.
what we're doing here is we're actually generating a mesh, and we're showing you where the activity of this particular thing is. So we do intend to bring GPU compute driven shading to GeNa as well. It just didn't make it in this release, and we could have spent another year developing this and never got the thing out. And it's already cost me an extreme amount of money to get it to this point. So we figured that while it could do more.
Chat were giving it. I mean, if at this point, because at the moment I haven't seen anything that can compare with this level of control of the spline for the river, the ease of what you've just done. Sanya was mentioning he would be using GeNa Pro to make these amazing splines and carve out, and then add in the RAM shader on the river.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I mean, Bart's shaders are incredible. When I say Bart, I mean Nature Manufacture. They're incredible. He is a fantastic shader coder. So it's the same deal, right? Use your tools. We don't care what material you put on it. Obviously, we wanted to have one. But if you look in our river settings here, if I select it, we've got this profile-driven thing. And if you open up your profile, you can drop in your materials and all that sort of stuff. So in this first version, we're just supporting built-in, but we'll bring in universal and HDRP shaders as well in later versions. And these features here are more oriented towards our shader. But yeah, you don't need to, it's just Unity, right? In fact, one of the things you can do, and I'll just do it, is I can, now that I've finished with this river.
River, by the way.
I can actually just close
Put some
thing
fish
here.
Salmon trying to swim up the river.
Yes. Okay. So let's finalize or bake this river. Boom. Do you want to bake your river? Oh, it's got the wrong road in there. Yay. Boom. Now this is just a normal old Unity mesh, and it's got a shader on it. Put your own shader on it. So actually something, often you see demos like this where I've done it on a small environment just purely to make it, easy and fast.
Yeah.
Because we inherently consider streaming in the environments we do, this will all work beautifully across terrains. And the other interesting thing is when you go across terrains.
Hang on. If I had two terrains now touching, I would be able to have a river that's going from one to the other across that seam. Yeah.
And more than that, basically when you do the bake like I just did, it will cut the river perfectly across the seams.
No.
So if you're streaming this terrain versus this terrain, then it'll just work.
Oh.
All right, now let me show you some cool stuff. And this is possibly even cooler than rivers. In fact, it's definitely cooler. So
I'm changing my pants after this stream.
Oh, dude, this is so cool. This is why I now need gameplay systems, because I want to get into my worlds and play in them. So inside of GeNa, we have we've included some asset samples and some content packs. So we've got the Gaia Pro content pack and the Flooded Grounds content pack. Let me just show you Flooded Grounds. So I'll just go to the store. And the Flooded Grounds is a really, really awesome free.
Yeah, I was very sad about Sanjay, because he's basically stepped away from making new stuff and just put all of his stuff for free on the asset store.
Yeah, there is an incredible amount of work in this.
Yeah, he had more assets than this. I've got some of the other stuff that he deprecated.
Yeah,
he basically, I don't know what happened, if it was monetary tax or medical or whatever. He basically just walked away from the asset store. It's a shame, because he is a very talented artist.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we chose this because it is good and free. And if you purchase GeNa Pro, then not only do you get all the amazing stuff that GeNa does, but we've actually set up some procedural content packs, both for Gaia and for GeNa. So you can install those, and then what it'll actually do is it will create a content packs directory. And this might be a little hint of what's coming. Content packs. What if you could just procedurally generate any environment you want? So this is just some sample content packs, and it's really a hint of what's coming from us in the future. So here's the flooded grounds one after I've installed it. Here's the guy.
You did hint at that at an interview a couple of years ago as well.
Yes. Well, it's taken us this long to actually get the tech to support.
If anyone's paying attention and goes back to one of the previous 10 interviews we've had them over the years, you might be able to put a few bits of clues together and find out what other secret shenanigans Procedural Worlds is up to.
There may well be some method to our madness, but it's debatable. All right, so let's drag a church into our scene. So there's your typical GeNa little thingy, and I'll just shift click on here and I'll go click, and boom, we have just flattened the terrain so that the church works, and then procedurally created a church in our scene. And actually, every time you generate this, it'll be different. So this is made with that really, really amazing modular pack from the flooded grounds. So you can see there's all sorts of stuff going on here. Now, let's go and put maybe a farm over here. It's quite a big farm. What the hell? We'll still do it. Like, there's a farm. And let's go, don't want to make it too far away. Let's maybe over here. It's not a very big environment. Let's, what have we got here? I can never remember which one's which. Try this one. And I can shift click and drag the direction that I'm going to put it in. Loop. And look at this.
Ooh.
Now, this is actually a really sophisticated, just unselect that for a second. Have you noticed that people that do stuff with Unity make weird noises, like doop?
Yeah. Because you're needing to create your own interface effects. Chat talking about Vegetation Pro integration.
Yeah, it's...
Is that coming?
No, it's not. If you want to do Vegetation Pro, it's a Unity environment.
Just do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Just spawn your stuff around. We sort of... It's just... Well, you could probably get a sense of the stuff we're bringing to market by having a look at some of this stuff anyway. So there's another quite complex thing that we just created. So the flattening stuff at the moment is just the current state of our terrain flattening. But what we're going to bring in the next release is a mask-driven flattening. So it'll actually be much more natural and organic. But we've created these rather cool areas, right? So now let's add a road. So GeNa, add road spline, and let's go. And sorry, this is so blurry, so I'll just go click.
That's all right. Now, so when you're still, it gives it a couple of seconds to catch up. Discord's getting there.
Just go a bit slow in here. Drag our road past this.
Now, can I use this road spline in runtime?
Yes.
Like, could I make a city builder game and have an interface to draw out roads?
Yep. When I show you the Gaia geospatial stuff, that is all. It's all made via API control. Because
you remember my short-lived and ill short-lived Tropico tutorial series. That I got 3 videos in and then got distracted making Resi's Ultimate Character Creator.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a year or so ago. You were one of those people that was very supportive, and I have to say thank you to you because you were always encouraging me to push on and make the assets. You always like, you do great content. Your stuff's really good. Go, just make the assets. If you make it, people will buy it. If just don't work, and also price it high. Don't price it low because it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't see the point of racing to the bottom with pricing. All it does, the reality of doing crazy low pricing, is that you just it all gets too much. You can't sustain the business anymore, and you end up going out of business. This is why, we get criticized. Oh, your stuff's expensive. We price it so that we can actually do it sustainably, so that we can actually support your product, not just this year, but the year after, and the year after, and the year after that. So I don't have any real. I don't think there's any real value in trying to be the cheapest thing on the block. And the interesting thing is, if you think about what it costs to hire a professional, and the stuff you're seeing here is highly complex stuff. You buy that professional for an hour, and you've sort of blown what we've just given you, like, for a year and a half of development.
I see that you're trying to straighten those roads. Is there like a preset that you just select like the road and then go click straighten and it will straighten?
You can actually simplify and smooth and all that sort of stuff. I'm just playing around just to show you can do it. So there you go. I just smoothed it, for example.
Nice.
So the interesting thing about our spline system, so I've just bang, 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 and I've created a road network, and you can see it's still a bit under the terrain and all that sort of stuff.
Well, can I just draw attention to the fact how nonchalantly you branched off that road?
Yeah. I select a thing and I go click, and then control click, and boom. Now I've got a nice intersection.
Can you make that into a cross? Can you now go blip in the other way? So now you've got a crossroads. So that one there that you've got going left, go off to the right.
I don't know about that, mate. You're just asking a bit. Oh, look at that. And I haven't tested this one. Let's go. There you go. Look at that. So you'll notice that it's under the terrain.
Wait. But now, move one of those nodes that you've made from that crossroad, which is the other big thing that people can't do, right? So that one that you've now at crossroad, there, that move that, just move it anywhere. See what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
It moves, mate.
This thing was exceptionally difficult to do. You can see there's some aspects of it that we still want to improve, but you know what? It works. So it's one of those things. You can force it to go into the weirdest possible convolution that you want it to, and chances are it will. Actually, I might just smooth that again. It's only so much it can do, but yeah, it's just working. And then that's still a bit tight. You can see, just to show us all our warts. That's still a bit tight, so we just move that like that. Boom, the algorithm's able to handle it. So this concept, this network of roads we've just created.
Before you've done anything, it's now the best road asset I've ever seen on the asset store. At this point,
thank you.
Even without you going any further.
This is just the beginning. In order to support, to get to the next level, like we've already done things like dynamically join and change road lanes and all that sort of stuff, but we need shader support. And our main shader coder has been busy upgrading the vegetation for Gaia Pro. His next big focus is providing shader support for our roads, because then we'll have dynamic decals, the ability to change lanes and all this sort of stuff. I actually still haven't shown you the coolest stuff with these roads yet. So the other thing with our splines is, we carve the terrain with the water. Well, the same carving system, this extension concept, can be applied to any spline. So we can add a spline with nothing on it and the carve extension, or the clear details, or the clear trees extensions, or even a road or an extrude extension. You can basically plugging in and even spawner extensions, keep plugging these things in and it'll just work. So let's go into this little thing and tweak it a little bit. Here I have, I'm sort of reluctant to show you this next thing because I haven't tested it extensively.
That's what we're here for, mate.
Well, I'm going to. Oh, what the hell!
Exactly.
You want modern roads? Let's subdivide this thing. Boop. Now we've actually doubled the amount of nodes, and means the roads are actually sticking closer to the terrain. So we've added more control over how this stuff all fits together. So I could also simplify. Now our roads are simpler. Now let's look at our carve. we could maybe we could carve into the terrain if we wanted to, or we could stick it above the terrain, but let's just stick it on the terrain. Then we've got this smoothness concept, so we can build out the amount of carve from the edge, so we can sort of blend things in nicely. This is a process, this works. There are some issues with it still. It's not quite perfect on intersections, but it's pretty good in majority of cases. And then we can also add in a bit of noise, right? So if you wanted to, I tend to like a little bit of subtle variation around the edges, find that the low frequencies and relatively low lacunarity is quite cool. So what we're basically doing here, and if I make it really strong, you can see I can actually dynamically modify the terrain around our road. So yeah, let's just set it about that. Put a different seed in there. I think if we make this a bit wider,
you get more about pavements?
Oh, you can ask about them.
Sidewalks and what do you call them in Australia? Curbs.
Pavements and sidewalks, yeah. So I'll show you something. It's something that's coming. Like, we do actually want to do something very sophisticated with this. But again, we could have spent another 6 months getting this to market, and it's actually quite useful right now. So there you go. I've now carved the terrain around our road, and our road's beautifully conformed to the terrain, and it just works. You can still do all of your standard Unity stuff. So if I wanted to maybe smooth my height, if I didn't like that quite, you can do that. So you can do whatever you want, really. It's like, we just put it into your Unity scene. It's up to you to do what you want after that. And then every now and again you'll get this. So I might just smooth the terrain around here, and then I'll go back to my road. Just pop that out, click here, and then I'll go road, and now I'll go conform to ground, and boom. It's not always 100%. You might have to manually lift it.
Can I make my road go up a hill and down and then?
Yep. Let's just try smoothing that a bit more. Maybe even drop the terrain slightly underneath that. Anywho, you get the idea.
Yeah.
So I've made it the road. It's going. Can you make it go up the hill? Well, I think I did that before. Did I do that? Sure, I did. Oh, maybe I didn't. Well, let's add up the hill and carve our way through the mountain here. So let's go back to our road. Click on our road and go click, 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 and go up through the hill, and then around there and so on. And what we can also do is, depending on which mode the road is in, and because this is also new, you notice actually I flicked conform to terrain on our road on, so it's actually doing its best to conform to terrain.
It's making like a waterfall.
But we can drop that down a bit, and we can select carve, and you notice that the deeper I drop it, the more it carves.
Oh wow.
So we're going to basically carve something up into our hill here. You could probably lift this if you wanted to. Let's go carve, boom. So now we've actually created a nice thing through our thing. So that's pretty damn cool. And you notice it was quite quick. All right, so we have created a rather cool little village and city and thing, and we've created a river, we've created some roads. Now let's finalize.
I'm still in shock of you carving and going, because that just reminds me of driving like to my home up in the mountains, having to go through. Cool. Oh my god, that is amazing.
And the way I might actually do that is you might do this in pieces, because that's quite a steep carve. I would probably be tempted to basically create a separate node segment, like road spline, and then basically carve it and have quite a wide flatness and all that sort of stuff, and maybe mix some noise so it's less of a carve through a mountain and more of a natural thing. But you can do whatever you want. That's really up to you. So the next thing I want to do with my road because wait, there's more. This is like the Ginsu thing. I want to add a street light. Boop. Now, what you'll see here is along our roads, there is a green dot. Dot.
Yeah.
Dot. This is called our flow rate. So as I change this number, the flow rate changes. So I make those things closer and farther apart. So in this case, I've got a flow rate of this. Now I want to offset it by, let's say, 3.6. So you notice instead of being in the center of the road, it's now at the edges of the road.
Yeah.
And so this is a GeNa spawner. Like I haven't even talked to you about really the spawner capabilities yet. I've just added streetlights, and you'll notice that they're all pointing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But they're everywhere. Like we just added it to our entire spline. So I'm going to go align to spline, and then I'm going to go offset my rotation, and now they're all beautifully aligned on top of my spline, which is rather damn cool. So what's the next thing to do? Well, funny you should ask. Let's go to Gaia Runtime. Now this is where this stuff all together is working or is enabled. And let's just change the time. And what you might notice,
they're
and
coming on.
They're on. Our lights are on.
Dirty
There's a culling system
bugger
on this so that you don't necessarily. And if you look at our lights here, we go back to middle of the day and they're off. Right. So
oh man,
we've created this amazing little island. We've got some really cool little procedural villages made out of free assets. And
everyone in chat is basically jaws are open. They're going, "Oh my god, this is cool. This is amazing." And then there's one question that snuck in: is there multi-lane support, or did I miss that part? I remember you mentioned that.
Multi-lanes, it's coming.
It's coming, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just literally, even to get to this was a gargantuan effort.
Are these lanes that you've got at the moment? Is the width set? Like, can they go wider?
Yes.
Or is it?
No, the road actually can go wider. When we click on our road, and you click on the road, boop, there's all these settings. So you can increase the road width. You can change the size of the intersection.
Can you just make that width really wide now? Can I ask you something? This was an exclamation mark baby check. Let me mute that because I want to ask my question. So, can you put a road? Can you duplicate this road now on top of itself? Like just grab this road spline and duplicate it.
I could finalize it and then duplicate the mesh.
So, can I ask you? Call me crazy. Call me beautiful.
Yes, beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Make one wide road, but the texture of it is a pavement. Make a smaller road inside that road, and that texture is a road. And therefore, you've got a wide road, which is the pavement, and inside it, you've got the same spline, but narrower, and that's the road.
You could do that. How about I do this instead? How about we add a extrusion extension? Boop. And then let's play with this thing. So let's increase its height offset. And whoop. So let's make it.
He muted the baby, you monster. Yes, I muted the baby. Have we spoken about overpasses yet?
Look, you can speak about all sorts of things, but this is what you're getting. Jesus, isn't it enough? God. So let's make it.
Adam, have you just met me?
Yeah. Look at this. Extrusions.
Hang on, is this that thing in the middle of the road where it separates the lanes? Yeah.
This is mesh extrusions. So
what do they call it? What's the name of that thing in the middle of the road that separates the lanes?
I don't know. Barriers. We also have a bunch of rather excellent. GeNa.
Adam. I'm an idiot. Well, you've known me for long enough. You know that. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference of just making the road now really wide, having your extrusion barrier in the middle, and suddenly becomes a dual carriageway?
Well, you could do that, couldn't you? Yeah, actually, you're right. There you go. A bit of creativity, and there it is. We've also included, a bunch of really cool other things to go with your roads.
And now so maglev ready, and now it's a track for a mag train.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to turn that off, but it just gives you a sense of the power, right? So if we click on our road here, click on my road, try it again. Here we go. So we've carved the terrain. We can clear details and trees. We won't need to because I haven't added them yet. That's the magic bit I'm going to add at the end. We've created the road. We've spawned some street lamps. Like that's just a GeNa spawner along the road. And then we've added an extrusion. I'll just turn that off. So not too shabby for a first release.
Ah. And
Are you ready
change
for
the
the
texture
big...
of this road to anything you want, can't you? Because it's just a...
Yeah. It's just a material.
Yeah.
And we can finalize it so that if you want to go and do your own, if you want to take it into your favorite modeling tool, you can go and modify it. It'll cut again in line with streaming and multi-scenes. It'll cut at the edge of your terrain so that basically you don't load the entire network in at once.
Mesh. I mean, finalizing your mesh is now going to make this huge million polygon one single mesh.
Yeah, except that we break it at the terrain edges, so you just have a mesh per terrain. And actually, you don't need to do it all as that, right? You could do individual road splines, finalize them, do another one, finalize it, and yada, yada, yada. So coming back to your comment, we could use those extrusions. We could make them bigger. You could put your own material and your own textures on there. It'll just work.
You keep on saying about streaming. So Barrack keeps saying the same question, but I missed it earlier. I do apologise, Barrack Dob. I love you. He's saying, is this sector, or is it now something else, or is it a sector now integrated into Gaia Pro? Because we know what sector was, and we've got the robot is spamming links to sectors in chat. Procedural World a while back acquired sector, a very powerful tool.
Yep. Gaia Pro now has streaming built in and has had for some time. So what we are trying to do with Gaia Pro is be, obviously a very powerful environmental generation system, but, Gaia Pro's got a lighting and time of day system. It's got weather systems. It's got vegetation and water shaders. It's got a streaming system. It's now, I didn't show you but I will show you when I talk to the mapping stuff. I'll show you the imposter generation system for distant tiles. So, and this next version of Gaia Pro takes that to another level of power. Gaia Pro is different to Sector in that Sector is a pure streaming solution. So it has the ability to, you can have a trigger here, which would load a dungeon or something like that. Gaia doesn't do that. Gaia is a terrain and environment generation system. So it doesn't have the sophistication of Sector. Sector has sound augmentation systems and all this other amazing stuff. Sector is still a product we support. And for different use cases, there is a different, different products. But then there's Storm, right? So Gaia streams, Sector streams. Most other products that are out there in the asset store stream. Storm not only streams, it accelerates. Oh. And that acceleration is anywhere between, oh man, when I show this, it's going to blow your mind. It accelerates Unity anywhere between 2 to 100 times.
Chat's asking a question. Can I just remind chat? Adam showed us the Procedural World's website. There's an indie section, professional section, and an enterprise section. Adam, Storm sits in which of those three?
It sits in the enterprise part of the world because it solves really hard problems. So Storm will stream and accelerate anything. There are some other really good products out there that do really great acceleration, but they're not designed for massive worlds. Yeah. Storm, again, coming from that geospatial and moving our tool set to support industry as well. Storm can stream 4 billion by 4 billion tiles, which is, when you add it all in, that's bigger than the planet Earth. And when I demonstrate it to you in a little while after we finish with GeNa Pro, you'll get a sense of the power and why we're quite excited about it. We've spoken.
Sorry, Adam, am I right in saying that enterprise should not be expected on the asset store due to the limitations of Unity's monetary options as a publisher?
Yes, there's a range of different things there. First of all, control of our IP, because as you know, the asset store can be quite interesting. Some people's ideas around ownership,
Yes.
and then I have considered, like we do have an indie option, and if you want to talk to us about it, basically the first 100 customers, indies that buy Storm, will get a very, very special price for it. But you will still think that price is expensive compared to your traditional asset store product. There are other asset store products that are more expensive on there, but we're not trying to, or what's the right way to say it? We're trying to solve interesting and difficult problems. So typically we're aiming for tier 1, tier 2 studios. And the indie, I've spoken with a number of people in the indie community, and I've said, oh, this is what we're thinking of doing. And they said, yeah, I'd pay that. So we know there's definitely an indie marketplace for Storm as well.
I mean, just to remind people, people use the word indie a lot. Also, if I would say, take a level back from indie and you remember the phrase bedroom programmer. So there's a difference between indie and bedroom programmer. When you're saying indie, we're saying you are an indie developer who's looking to release a product that is going to be earning you revenue. And as such, you're going to be having money coming in and a budget to spend. A bedroom programmer is more like someone like myself, an amateur who's just doing stuff for squits and giggles, and not necessarily looking at a budget sheet at the end of the day. So, have your expectations aligned to the realistic of what you're going to be, the tools you're going to use for the project. Like if you want to be, like Adam said, different tools for different jobs. If you are in your bedroom and just doing some projects for fun, Sector is a great thing to do. Hobbyist, hobbyist is a great way of describing it.
Yeah, well, actually, even hobbyist is an interesting thing. So you think about people that ride bikes, and they've got their spandex outfits and their padded bum seats and all this other stuff. They spend tens of thousands of dollars on their hobby. So there are plenty of indies out there who are hobbyists who I think, Storm would be quite within the sort of money they're prepared to spend. But yeah, it's actually aimed more at people who want to publish a game. So if you want to get, much, much, much better performance out of your environment, then you're the target audience for Storm. If you're just playing because it's fun, then, there's some great tools on the asset store that already will do a great job. Just they're not trying to solve necessarily the same problems as we're trying to solve with Storm.
So hopefully that was enough of a disclaimer.
Yeah. We don't want to offend people. Storm has had, again, about 1.5 years of development sunk into it. It had its genesis out of a commercial product for a big company. And the challenge we're trying to solve there was, how do we accelerate and make real-time procedural environments? How do you accelerate and make real-time procedural environments run well on an Oculus Go? So we were generating stuff in real time in an Oculus Go, which, as you may recall, was a very, very low-powered device. And we wanted it to run at 72 frames a second. And you just can't do that with normal approach to rendering. So Storm had its genesis there. Took us a long time to try and to get it right. But we've pretty much got it right. And I'll show you that in a minute. But let me just finish this off because I haven't even shown you the coolest bit of this yet.
Every time you say that, I haven't even shown you the coolest bit. I've already had to change my pants 4 times.
Yeah, I just love this. I genuinely really have fun doing this. So let's go back to our Gaia tools, and let's just go and spawn our biome. One of the things that's happening in the next Gaia release is everything with Gaia and GeNa has been set up to work together. So let's spawn our biome. damn it. I forgot to do something. Actually, I just want to turn something off because it'll generate a lot more.
Is it too late to click that cancel button?
Yeah, I'll just let it complete. It's going to spawn a lot of ferns, and the ferns work well in a pure. Remember, I showed you how in Gaia we I surround rocks with ferns. Well, we haven't tagged our roads as being different from rocks. They're both large objects.
So they're going to be under it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to. Well, they're not growing under it. They're growing next to it, but there's a lot of them. So from a performance perspective, it's just a bit heavy.
And Wisdom Code is reminding you that if you had Vegetation Studio Pro working, you might be improving your performance.
Yeah. So actually, not too many. Oh no, it's these ones. It's the mushrooms. I added ferns into the mushrooms, and look at that. We've got a 30-odd thousand game objects, which in your typical scene is going to cause it a bit of a moment. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'll just go to that one. I'll just turn my mushies off. So I just go clear spawns. And from this spawner, clear spawns.
And don't worry, one of the prizes we're giving away today is Storm. We're giving away a lifetime subscription to Storm. The winner was the Messy Coder. Well done, Messy Coder. How are you? Oh, thanks for supporting the stream.
All right, so let's go and see what we came up with. So obviously, I was talking to you and you slowed me down a lot. I could have done this faster, but I did it.
I've heard that said a lot before.
So here we go. Let's kind of look down into our environment. Now, I don't like the lighting, and this biome is still in a work in progress. So let's just change our light a bit. And lighting, doop. Yeah, middle of the day. Let's get a bit of mood lighting going here. And I could maximize the screen, but it's going to be so blurry for you guys.
Here I am. We're letting Discord catch up to the pixels on the screen. Are we getting there?
Yeah. So I'll just go to spots, and then I'll stop so you can see it. I will actually maximize it because it just looks cool. So here we go. I'm going to zoom along. Here is our procedurally generated cool little point number 1.
Oh, mate. Adam had a slip of the tongue. A few of us spotted it.
Oh, what was that?
What did you say?
And which time? Actually, I'll go first person view because it's even better. So just go to my player, choose my first person.
Tell him to go to nighttime.
All right, let's go to night. I want to show you nighttime because secretly it's my favorite.
Everyone's saying nighttime, go to nighttime. Brian's saying, tell him to go to nighttime. What was the slip of the tongue?
Wow, look at that. So let's run it now.
Rocks with sperm.
What's that?
Rocks, instead of rocks with ferns, you said rocks with sperms.
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. Beaut. Look at that. Lights.
Oh.
And
it's
I'll go for a wander.
It's a romantic night stroll with my friend Adam. And our little bunny rabbit called Brian, who we keep in our pocket.
Just Messy and I. Look at that. Night look there. Now, let's go in a little bit deeper. So I've given you a bit of a look at that.
Again,
I just love
I've had that said to me a few times before as well. So
just work, right? So this all just works. Let's go and look at what we got over here. All right, so let's have a look in our little area here. So just to show off some of the features of what's going, or some of the interesting things about what's going on here, is the grass doesn't grow through any of the assets we placed down. The trees aren't in the middle of our procedurally generated thing here. Depending on which room you go into, let's go and have a look in our little mansion. So we've not only done a bunch of the exteriors, but depending on which place you go into, we've also done interiors as well. And of course, I've chosen one where we haven't done interiors, but you can put your own interiors in here. So all of this is actually been set up so that essentially you have now got a level to make your game in. So now it's like in 5 minutes.
Now we can chuck in RPG Builder and away we go.
Yeah, this is what I find so exciting about this is basically you've got the guts of your game ready to go.
It's lovely, man.
So let's go and find some more stuff.
Mate, it's lovely.
Has this got some interiors?
No.
Here we go. This one's got some interiors. It really depends. A huge amount of work went into setting this up, and at the same time, we're also developing. Now let's go into this building here.
While you go into that one, I've just got a question. Can we create our own GeNa Pro spawners like those houses and such a place? Are we able to make our own?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, it's not immediately obvious from this because I haven't shown it to you, but this was procedurally generated. It's what I call artist-driven procedural. So it was a combination of a level designer and the algorithms that we use to generate this stuff. So every single time you generate this particular layout, it'll be different. And that means that, you know, you can use the same spawner and generate similar but different types of features for your game, which I think is rather damn cool. So let's go and see. I can never remember how to get out. Do we have a fence over here? Nope. Everything just works, and I just love it, to be honest. Let's go for a hoon and see what else is in our well.
Let's go for a hoon.
You're about 20 seconds behind me. But I just basically set my roads up so that they would connect our areas together. And there's that little bit. So you can touch that up with your terrain. Oh, here's something else. Let's go and see over here. This, for me personally, this is it is so much fun to actually be able to, because we've been making environments like beautiful terrains and all these systems for a long time, but now we're actually finally bringing the human into it. And when you start to bring mankind and those sorts of things into your environments, then they start to take on a whole new level of interest. So I just love like this stuff. And that's why I talked about the product that we've got coming that will start to allow you to procedurally or pseudo-procedurally add in gameplay, both at design time and runtime. So that's streaming okay.
Tell Adam to use the car. Oh yeah, now you've got roads on. You said you were going to put the car, didn't you?
All right, so let's see how this goes at runtime. I'll try and do it at runtime.
Let's say we have AI in our game, generated a scene in-game. Can it also generate a nav mesh as well?
You could, or you could just add it. Like the interesting thing and the temptation when you have tools like this is they should just press a button and make my game. That's actually not always the best way to do it. So yes, we could, but probably would make more sense to just add it in manually. So let me just hit the escape key. Where's my mouse gone?
I would use A-star pathfinding for this kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah. Let's see how well this works. It might take me back to where I started, and it may mess up the lights and everything else. Oh, it's left me here. You beaut. So this is a little fun feature we added. Oh no, it's placed me right on the edge of my mesh. Oh, here we go. We're fixed. So now what I've got,
3.7,
and I paid one of my programmers, one of our team out the other day. Whoa! Because he was so useless at driving the car. And then I started to drive the car.
I was about to say, I'm watching you drive it, and I just want to say, remind me never to get in the car with you when I visit Australia.
Well, that's right. Yeah, you would be. So let me just zoom out a bit, and oops. See, I am just so useless. And then I'll whack this back to full screen. So now I just love this as well, right? We added the car to Gaia Pro just so that we could, and that's actually a bug.
Oh, look
But
at that, in the middle of the road.
yeah, just manually delete that one. We added. Look at this, Clyde. I can stay on the road. We added
I get that
the
reference.
car just to, well, Clyde's he's our amazing road and river dude. He has done such a good job with this. Also, a big shout out to Manny.
Look, that fell down in the road. You got send the people out to fix that. That's dangerous.
Manny and Josh have both also contributed
Blame
to this.
a bug on your driving skills.
Yeah, my driving skills are brilliant. It's just the crappy car, and I blame Josh for that. So now I'm speeding up.
How is Josh?
And oops, it's the end of the road, and we just crashed to a tree.
I spoke to Josh the other day. It was, hello, I haven't been spoken to Josh in ages. Good lad, is Josh.
Yeah. So it's obviously still accelerating for some reason. But there you go. There is a brief introduction to, and I'll just stick the time backs to so we can see.
I'm behind you. I can't fix your driving. There you go.
That's 6 o'clock. Yeah.
You broke the car.
So there you go. In a very short amount of time, we created an entire game world, brought it to life with Gaia, and if you're making games, just with this, you've got enough to create a beautiful environment and bring it to life with your gameplay in minutes. Now, the interesting thing with Gaia Pro, that comes with a bunch of biomes, and as I mentioned, our technical artist, after we get this next release out, he's going to spend some time just making biomes. His biomes are much, much better than my biomes. So, yeah, there's GeNa Pro. What do you reckon?
It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. It's like, does it print money?
Exactly.
Well, you can use it to print money.
Exactly. if you click the build button and uploaded it onto Steam, you're printing money. Well, I've already been seeing people's comments in chats of all the different use cases, from people wondering what kind of games they're going to make to even tools like Yolan's making a world builder tool. There's so many different possibilities, and the fact that this is opened up with the API, you can be recording all this stuff in runtimes in your game. It's incredible. I'd sperm on a rock to get hold of a copy. Pete, there's a very clinical way of saying it. That is the best that I could hope for, really, for how you could phrase that. Honestly, I'm in shock. There's a look. I don't like to use the word potential because it's a dirty word sometimes, but there's a lot of stuff that we can do at the moment in this version that a lot of assets can't do. There's some stuff that you can't do at this current stage of G. Now, if you're always going to be waiting until you've got all the features you want, you're never going to release. Okay, you need to get to market with something, and the sooner you get out with something that works, the sooner you're getting feedback, you're getting traction for the next update. It's easier to push out the next update once you're live than just sit there procrastinating and delay. So there's always a it's a balance. There's a delicate balance, because you've seen, like with Cyberpunk. Okay, there was a big crunch. They released Cyberpunk. A lot of people complaining, but in reality, they're live now. So the magnifying glass is on them, and they're pushing out updates. They're basically forced in a position to push out updates. And like us, when you're live with a product or an asset like this, you are basically now churning out updates to a live asset. You've got users who are using version 1 in their projects. So you've got pros and cons. Now you need to be careful that your next update hasn't completely reworked and changed everything and broken what they've been using for the last 6 months, depending on your next update comes out. So there are considerations to have. But in the same token, you've got an asset that's live you've got income coming in that, let's be honest, is keeping the company liquid for the next update to come in. If you don't release, you don't have money coming in. You can't pay wages to do the development that you need. It's a business at the end of the day, as well as, you know, something that's giving pleasure to people. See, if there's functionality that I would say is missing, Adam, I'm immediately trying to look outside the box of ways to hack what you've showed me to get those, or if not,
absolutely.
leveraging a third-party asset to do those missing features, and then later, should GeNa have that functionality, decide as the customer, do I want to utilize that functionality that GeNa now has native, or carry on using something third party? And that third party might be a feature from Gaia Pro that Gaia has that GeNa doesn't have, and vice versa. So yeah, I am impressed. There's a room for improvement, and that's what gets me more excited. Is that it's at this stage, it's already better than a lot of stuff that I've seen that's been out for years. And there's still room for improvement, which means it can only get better. Hopefully, you're not going to balls it up in the next update and it's going to go horrendously wrong. You know, you've got previous at doing the right thing. So I'm quietly confident you know what you're doing. Everyone in chat is asking about Storm now.
So let's have a look at Storm. If you'd share my screen again, I'll show you something else that's rather damn cool. So, you know, that scene ran okay in my Unity.
I would like to say you've got all your icons exposed on your desktop. Are you all right with that?
Yeah. Oh, look, I'll just do this then. Go.
You know, you can right-click your desktop and say hide desktop icons if you want it. But
oh, look, I wouldn't know stuff like that. Too busy delving in the bowels of Unity. All right, so I've shown you how we could use Gaia to create awesome environments, and I showed you some of the cool stuff. And I also showed you GeNa Pro, which means you can start to fill your environments with more and more stuff. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of Gaia Geospatial. I'm going to show you Storm, and I'm also going to show off some of the new features of Gaia Pro. And just in the sort of spirit of saying thanks to our team, because everybody has worked so hard. Gaia Pro, Pete has done incredible work with the new features and the product as a whole. Connect, Dan has been doing amazing things. I'll show you Connect very briefly as well. And, you know, ClydeBot has been doing amazing things with Gaia Geospatial as well. So let's check. Oh, and then, of course, John on Storm. So this represents a huge amount of effort. And there's many pieces. So one of the first things you'll see is it's a loading screen, because this is a really big environment, and we're actually loading up lots of Unity scenes in the background. And there we go, we've got something. Now, if I hit the Shift key, the double Shift key, what we'll see is our frames per second up in the corner here. And you might go, oh, you know, 125 frames a second, but that's 125 frames a second with this.
It's a bit big, isn't it?
So it'll just wait to stream a bit, and then I'll stop it.
Chat saying they can't see it's cut off. Oh, there you go. That's better. Is that better? Make it a bit smaller for you.
So that is a massive amount of stuff being drawn there.
Mother of God, Jesus is the comments in chat. Damn.
Damn. And of course,
that's
you know,
bit big,
this is also. Pardon?
That's a bit big, isn't it?
It's a bit big, yeah. And I'll go up a little bit higher.
Because I like to remind you that the statement that Unity can't handle large world terrains.
It does struggle, but it doesn't with Storm. So what's going on here? First of all, the environment itself, and this is silky smooth on my computer. Obviously, you're not seeing that. What is your graphics card like? Is this the most expensive graphics card in the world? This is a very good graphics card. So you could argue, oh, that's just because you've got a good graphics card. But when I run the same thing in Unity, my performance drops to a plummet. So really, it's about the relative improvement in performance. So in here, the interesting thing is we've got stuff out there, but we're not actually rendering the terrain. So this stuff was all created from or with Gaia Geospatial. It's still early stage. I showed you the awesome stuff we've got in GeNa Pro. We just haven't integrated that back into this particular build yet. So this is all ingested from the real world. You'll see there's stuff going out quite a bit further than, in fact, we're rendering vegetation further than we're rendering terrain. So let's go to our Gaia settings and let's push. So this is the new streaming stuff I was telling you about. And I've got this thing called an imposter, and I've got a thing called the terrain range. Let's push I'm going to actually just bring back the culling. So increase the culling. So telling Storm, don't render stuff so far out so you can see what's going on. What's actually going on here is if I increase this number quite a bit, we're now streaming in the imposter meshes that were generated with Gaia Pro. So you can see them all loading in. And this is how we get the big draw distances.
Yeah.
So Gaia Pro has this ability to, up close, we've got Unity terrain, and you can add whatever shaders you want onto it and all that sort of stuff. Up close, you also get the lay of the land, and you get a sense that, this is actually pretty damn cool. But going out, so essentially what we're doing here is we've got Unity terrain rendering up close and streaming up close. And then we're actually streaming these imposter meshes far away. And the interesting thing about these, if you look at them, you can see we've actually baked the trees and grass and anything else you've got in your environment into that terrain. Now, there's almost no fog on this, but normally what you would do is you'd have a bit of a distance fog and a bit of haze and stuff. And where we've done some tests, and this is just the one that we've done at the moment, we've actually found that you can't tell the difference between a baked imposter mesh and the Unity terrain itself. In fact, it's better than Unity terrain, because if I render Unity terrain all the way out to there, it doesn't bake anything in. So all the vegetation and the stuff and so on, any objects you place in the terrain, you don't see them. Now, I'm showing you this at its worst possible viewpoint, just to give you a sense of what's going on. So yeah, this is the new streaming thing. I could also, I could bring this back in, they'll unload. And obviously we're maintaining a pretty fierce frame rate while we're doing this. Then I could also push out the Unity terrain. So, as I push that out, you'll see them swapping out. They'll load in and the imposter meshes will get hidden. But now I'm going to start to tank my performance as well, because Unity terrain is just so inefficient. So you can see where the other interesting thing about Unity terrain, notice that as we swap Unity terrain for our imposter meshes, Unity terrain is not baking in all the trees and all that sort of stuff. So actually this solution is in a lot of ways superior to Unity for distant stuff. So now I'm just, popping that out and just swapping them back. So all working seamlessly, all working at high frame rates. So let's just pop that out, and then, let's turn off the weather. Stop the snow, and let's just disable weather for the moment. LOD settings. So this is, now we're actually controlling, so I think the streaming has all done its thing. Now we're actually controlling Storm. So we can tweak our LOD bias and all that sort of stuff, and Storm just dynamically updates. We can increase our billboard, or change, where we're swapping from billboards and so on. Obviously, how good this looks depends on the lighting and also how you set up your settings. So let's push this thing out a bit. All right, so we can also change. This is the new Billboard Shader stuff in Gaia Pro. It actually works pretty well. Probably put out my my lighting a bit further. So shadow, increase my shadow quality, increase the resolution, increase the shadow distance. And then we can start to play with this stuff. And the more you dial it up, then the more it costs. So we can maybe increase our LOD bias a bit, maybe even bring it back down. drop those, choose where the billboards kick in and out, decrease the culling size, so we're pushing stuff out to the horizon. But
now those trees are all in the horizon. Those are the billboard.
Yeah, so this is the new Billboard Shader for Gaia Pro. We basically put a lot of effort into making this thing look good. So, I am drawing a shit ton of stuff here. Another Australianism for you. We can change the shadow casting, so you can see as I'm changing this, it's tweaking in and out. Obviously, shadow casting is going to influence my frame rate as well, and also shadow receiver. So the more we want it to look good, then the more we push this stuff further out. And you basically won't see that seam between the meshes and the billboards. And then the other cool thing I'll show you is what's actually...
You're on that debug. Are you going to show us I can't see the total because I can't see the screen properly. The total number of trees that we're looking at the moment. We got Sengoku in the chat debating about wanting 600,000 trees on a 4K by 4K terrain. He did it before and he had 25 FPS. Yeah.
So we are rendering, according to this, 275,000 instances on the environment. It's all silky smooth. And actually what we're doing is a number of different things. So see these colors? This is the LOD level of those trees. So the bright green ones are, LOD 0. And then as they sort of go out to the different LODs, then they go to sort of an orangey color. And then sort of red is the billboards. We have a feature where we want to actually replace entire tiles with a single imposter, but so far our experimentation, it's not at a production level yet. But you can get a sense. And then if I go into my LOD settings and muck around with this, so let's just push that culling size, and we'll leave that there. It's the billboards we want to play with. So, I can start to push that stuff further out and out and out. Now we're drawing an entire screen full of stuff. But it's still running.
It's still at 70 to 80 FPS.
Yeah. So obviously you wouldn't want to do that. And you've got to tweak the lighting and everything else. You shouldn't take this as indicative. What you should take is, oh my God, I can do a shit ton of stuff and it's all streaming and I could actually stream Planet Earth with this thing. That's the interesting takeaway. So let's just turn off debug.
Could you get a scan of Planet Earth and have Planet Earth actually... correct for its, for how it works.
The interesting thing with, we've talked about Storm and doing massive environments. We've talked about Gaia Geospatial and the ability to ingest the world. You've seen with GeNa that we've got this road system and river system that is really, really nice. So what we're going to start to do is Gaia Geospatial will ingest the world and you'll set up all your biomes and so on. Then Gaia will generate the world. GeNa will decorate the world with roads and rivers and all the smart things that GeNa can do. And then Storm will deliver the world. So that's the sort of intention. And then
isn't that origami cut into lots of pieces then?
What's that?
Isn't that origami basically?
Yeah, it's different parts of origami. So I didn't talk about the decorator system in GeNa Pro, but there is an entire intelligent system that when you generate your layouts and so on, you can actually decorate all of the Unity objects with intelligence, so that when GeNa ingests that layout and goes to spawn it, you can do all sorts of interesting and unique things. So different variations, move things around, scale thing, add colliders, remove colliders, all this other stuff. So and even sub-spawners. So we could spawn something where this tree is and it could just spread out and keep spawning until it finds the edge of the bounds of its environment. I didn't want to go into that in GeNa in that demo because it's already quite overwhelming what I showed everybody. But that's technology that came straight out of origami. So yeah, if you think of this as an integrated system where you've got Gaia creates your environment, GeNa brings, adds in the fine details, and that's really an interesting thing. Like GeNa does the roads, the rivers, the cute little procedurally spawned environments, and so on. Then Storm accelerates it and streams it. So we're doing streaming here, but we're also using Storm. So Storm is managing. It's actually a combination of Gaia and Storm working together. But yeah, basically if you look at these things as an integrated set of tools, then you've got some really powerful capability happening here, and stuff that's fairly unique in the Unity ecosystem.
It is. Look, dude. Undeniably, it is amazing. It really is. Beggars belief.
Oh, hang on. I haven't shown you the last thing. One more thing. Have you got another 10 minutes?
I've got all for you, Adam. For you, we've got all the time in the world because we haven't even started doing the giveaways yet.
All right. I'll show you the next thing. But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait, there's more.
So all of this stuff is rather cool. But wouldn't it be better if you could do it with a friend?
I don't have any friends, Adam. I'm all alone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can do it all by yourself. I
give too many people 4 stars and 3-star reviews, and then they don't speak to me anymore. And I keep telling you, a 3-star review is good. You should be proud of a 3-star review. Not on the Unity Asset Store, obviously, but.
All right.
Host a session, join a session. This sounds like it's multiplayer.
This is multiplayer. This is multiplayer with a click. So this is actually the same environment. It doesn't have Storm in it, so it's not accelerated like the other one was. It is streaming in, and in this environment we applied a different biome. So there's our same golf course that we had before, but this time we're rendering some speed tree assets and so on. But what we've got here is a multiplayer environment. So and we've done some sort of fun things like throw hand grenades at each other, and fireballs and kicks. One of my favorite tricks is to run up behind people and kick them in the backside for some reason, and then they go flying. For some reason, that appeals to my sense of humor. We can wave, we can do sort of, some of those sort of cutesy sort of MMO type stuff. We've got buggies.
Star Wars Galaxies.
We can actually then go and.
Is that made with Game Creator? No.
This is made with our stuff. This is all procedural worlds. Actually, we have used some other assets, so we haven't tried to build everything.
Are you allowed to say what you've used?
So we've actually integrated. So you notice this thing up the top here. Mouse is. It'll probably come up in a second, and it's flashing away. That's because I'm talking. So we've integrated Vivox. So with Connect, you can talk to your friends, like just normal old chat, like we're chatting.
Mm-hmm.
We've integrated a web browser, so you can literally place a web browser in your scene, and you can click a button or whatever, and boom, you can actually browse websites from within Connect. We've integrated what else? We've integrated YouTube, so you can stream media. And we're talking with another
videos in there.
Yeah, like literally, you can go and watch cool videos live in this environment.
Say the word, Adam.
What's that?
You say the phrase. You can watch messy coder videos. Say it.
I can watch messy coder videos. We can. I don't have it in this demonstration, but we built another product called Snap Builder, and we're still deciding whether we'll put it on the asset store. But essentially,
you showed us Snap on a previous stream once. Do you remember?
Yeah. So Snap Builder lives, and Snap Builder lives multiplayer. So you can build multiplayer environments together inside of and talk, and go and maybe pop out of this and pop into the tank and shoot things. We've sort of added these rather cool features which are about just having fun and collaborating together. But with Snap Builder, what you can then actually do is dynamically, think of Minecraft on steroids. You can dynamically add stuff to your environment. You can share that. Like you can load a Snap Builder session, and let's say you've been all by yourself as you are building your little domain over here. Then when we load that Snap Builder session, it'll just load up. Oh. And in Snap Builder, we can all of the power of GeNa. Remember I talked about runtime generation? This is why we're doing it runtime, amongst other things. You can actually codify and store an entire GeNa session, which perhaps we've worked on together, and load and save it. So we start with this base environment. We go and do a bunch of amazing stuff with Snap Builder. And then basically when we're finished, we save it. And then we could create 3 different versions of this thing together and just dynamically load them at runtime, and show it to you if you wanted to see it.
Can I pause you for one moment?
Yep.
If anyone in chat is wondering if procedural words are worth your time, remember that you can type !awards in chat. If you've seen anything today that has interested you in any way, excited you perhaps, or made you think that this doesn't look too bad, I would like to show my appreciation. Well, remember that procedural worlds are the Meryl Streep of the Unity world. They've been nominated numerous times, yet they're always the bridesmaid and never the bride. And this could be their year. If you want to help it become their year, you can go over to the Unity Awards and vote for them. You could also vote for anyone you want on the Unity Awards. But I can't encourage you to vote for anyone in particular. I can just ask you, if you feel they're worth your vote, then why not pop over to the Unity Awards website and give them your vote. Spamming !awards in chat will not register the vote for Gaia Pro. Okay, you actually have to click the link and go and vote for them. You can't just spam awards in chat and think you voted. I'm not fully integrated to Unity's award API, if that's what you're wondering. It doesn't work like that. Was that enough shilling for you? Is that the phrase that the TV told me yesterday? So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, actually, to be compared with Meryl Streep is a particularly awesome thing. Anyway,
I'm there for you, mate. There you go.
You're a legend, mate. You're all class. So there you go. There is Connect. It's multiplayer enabled. You can do things like you can manage. Come on, this demo. You have to click it twice. You can actually you can have different people. Everybody who hosts a Unity session or one of these sessions can basically have their own user base, so you've got security, authentication, all that. It's a powerful system where we wanted to do, like, you'll notice there's, it's not like an RPG game. With COVID, we think there's a massive need for people to be able to connect.
Yeah.
And so where we were coming from with this is, even though you could make a game on top of it, we are looking at how do we support people in business? Like, how do we make it easy for people to connect together and do things in a disparate world?
That social connection. Josh is saying that I can hop on if you want. Oh.
Oops, I'm showing my screen. No. There's nothing to hide there.
There you go. We're hiding it.
This is actually,
there you
go. This is actually a version of Connect running on the server. So that one was just peer-to-peer. Same product, supports both. And this one is something that's had a little bit more polish applied to it.
Lost in Selling Sites. Can you talk more about the CTS replacement? Lost in Selling, he did say that if you had purchased CTS within the last 6 months, you'd get an upgrade. If you hadn't, there's a paid upgrade funnel to get the new version when it does come out. But currently, it's not out yet. Not sure you said there was a projected date, but we won't push you for that.
Yeah, there isn't a projected date yet because it's not actually easy. Oh, Josh is there.
I'm hiding because you've got IP addresses. I'm pretty sure you don't want to be sharing IP addresses to the world.
See if I can get back in. Don't know that that's. Let's see what's happening with Josh. I wonder if Josh is running. I suspect he's not. No, that's just he's not. So I can't demonstrate you that the actual server's not running. Oh well.
Josh, you mentioned playing together. Messi Coda, he is here. I know he's there. I can see he's there in the chat. Tell him to pull his finger out and get it working.
Yeah, look, I should have actually told Dan that I was going to show that, but I wasn't going to show it. So
Basically,
there you
we are
go.
in a call. They're all in a call together, uh, having fun, getting drunk.
Well, they actually deserve to. They've worked so hard. Um, it's been incredible the amount of effort that the entire team. We've all been working pretty much 7 days a week to get these releases out. Um,
Yeah,
you
you
can,
have got to be careful. I do say this to you a lot. You do need to factor in some rest time. R&R.
yes. So we plan to take off from the 24th of December through to the 5th of Jan. And it's going to be a bit of a time to chill out and get some housework done and all that fun stuff. Um, yeah, but if people, so GeNa Pro will launch later today, hopefully, looking very, very likely. Storm, if you're interested in it, come talk to us. We solve some really interesting problems. It's not just about streaming, it's about acceleration. We don't care what type of environment you're streaming either. So whether it's, a low poly world, I've got another demo where I've got some amazing stuff from Cinti, which runs 5 frames a second on my powerful computer, but in Storm runs at 200 frames a second. I don't want to bore you with too many demos because I've shown you a bunch. So you've got Storm, Connect. With Storm, it's come and talk to us. Same deal with Connect. We aren't necessarily targeting this at the traditional games industry. It's for people that want to be able to connect. Like just the fact that I showed you that really cool environment together that I made in GeNa and Gaia. You can literally, with a few clicks, turn that into a Connect environment. So then you can run around with your friends and your family and so on. I alluded at the start to a new product which will allow you to create gameplay, but there's plenty of awesome gameplay tools out there already. CTS, there was a question about that. It's coming. Well, it won't be called CTS. It'll be called something else. And I gave you a sense of the fact that we're going big with this stuff. So the new version will be designed to run on massive worlds. It'll be designed to work well and run well. It'll have streaming and that sort of stuff inherently supported. And then there's more stuff, interesting stuff that we want to do, but there's only so many days in a week, and we're doing what we can within the sort of cash flow constraints of the company, I suppose you could say.
Well, you can't work everything at the same time, can you?
No, and as I said, like the team's been working so hard. Everybody in the team's been busting their backsides to get these releases ready to go. So I think we just need to. We're gonna push out GeNa Pro today. As I mentioned, Gaia Pro is a hero product, but GeNa is the other hero, and there's a huge amount of development coming this way because we want to be able to do the real world in GeNa and Gaia. So what you'll see is the fidelity and the capability of this stuff will get better and better.
I am hopeful for 2021.
Oh my God, 2020 has been such a year, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what a lot of us, there's people in chat asking about moving over to Unreal. It feels, and as I've had this conversation with various people at Unreal, Unity rather, that we're kind of being left to one side while Unity proceeds with their agenda for what they've set out as part of, they're public now and they've got certain goals that their targets that they're going to meet. But for your average game developer, that functionality is not being met, and other companies and publishers need to are stepping up to the plate to fill that. So
yeah,
without you, there is nothing else like Storm out there. I mean, there's you would expect. Somebody said in chat, would you sell these products to Unity?
Oh look, everything is possible. Who would know? Unity would need to approach me and show some interest, and then the price would need to be right. if those two things happen, then Unity is an amazing company. I think Unity is in a really interesting place. They are actively trying to move from a AA to a AAA company. HDRP is coming along. URP is coming along. They know and they acknowledge they've made some missteps in how they've tried to bring that to life, but they've got a new head of engineering that took over in March, I think, and his focus is stability first and then bring this new stuff. So it's really like, even with us, and we're a tiny company, we have technical debt. There's stuff in our products that I go, why did we do it that way? I wish we'd done it this way. And it takes time to steer the ship, but Unity is a pretty damn big ship.
Yeah.
So I hear people have a go, and I think, you know what, Unity is actually capable of doing amazing stuff if you give it some time and you have the skills. What we're trying to do is actually make it easy for people to embrace Unity. So a lot of the stuff that sits in Gaia Pro, you go, well, why do you need a terrain shader and a water shader and all this? Well, sorry, a tree and a weather and a sky and all this other stuff. Well, because the stuff out of the box in Unity is just not good enough, or it's not in a state that people can use yet. Like, why does Unity not have a decent water shader? That to me boggles my mind.
Because could do, because other people are making it. That whenever you're making something like what you've made, Storm, you haven't created something out of thin air. You haven't turned, you haven't discovered alchemy. You haven't turned brass into gold. Mud iron into gold, or whatever. Whatever you've done, Unity could have done themselves. They haven't, because they're pursuing other more important things for their tasks that they're on. They've got things they need to meet. HDRP one of them, or the other changes that they're doing, and it's not on their agenda to be working. It's not on their list of the things that you're tackling with your products. Yeah. They could do it.
So, I mean, a great example of that is, one of the things they say is, we solve the hard problems so you don't have to. So I guess you could look at us as a tier 2 version of that.
Yeah.
Unity solves, the fact that this runs on 30-odd platforms. Brilliant. Now we've added layers of value on top of that, which, people can take advantage of. And, then you build your game or your sim or whatever on top of that. So, yeah, one of the advantage we have over Unity is we're tiny and we're agile. I don't have to support 30 platforms at a low level. I just need to make something that runs well inside of Unity, because they've solved those other problems for us.
I could imagine now a conversation where in the future Procedural Worlds gets purchased, it's acquired by Unity, and suddenly becomes the Australian branch of Unity. Like you'd now suddenly start building a larger office, and Unity Australia was born out of Procedural Worlds. That's a nice thought.
Look, we actually collaborate with Unity Australia. We've done projects together for some of their customers. The way I look at it is, if we help make Unity more accessible to more people, then that's a win for everybody. Us as a company, it's good. Unity, it's great because, the easier people are able to create awesome environments with their engine, then the more licenses they sell. And then for the end user, it's good too. I don't think we'll ever be Unity Australia, but we certainly, we apply some muscle with Unity from time to time.
Oh, I'm trying to chat to you in your website. Every time I go to chat, it's asking for more and more details. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's basically you have to give me your credit card before I'll actually talk to you.
Here we go. No, sorry. Oh, no. Okay.
Actually, it's interesting. That's a bot. One of the things we haven't done very well is kept in contact with our customers. So this is a part of our new strategy as well. So let me actually respond to you. I'm going to do this from a website as well, but it's a totally different one. Let's go to conversations. You should be popping up.
Much love to you.
And the reason actually we collect that information is so that if we're not online when you actually send these messages, then we can respond to you. Here we go. I just found you.
Who was it? The one who wrote "Much love to you too"?
Okay.
Was that Brian? Brian, was that you?
And there you go. I'm typing.
Brian with a Y.
So this is amazing. I love this. What this means is people can actually talk to us, and then when we're back in our time zone, we can answer questions.
That's brilliant.
It means that there's always a way to connect to us.
Oh, that's great. Right, Adam, it's 20 past 1 my time. Other people are passing out.
Yeah, probably
now,
me.
You mentioned something at the beginning of the stream.
I missed.
You mentioned presents.
Oh, yes. So, why don't you give some copies of Gaia Pro and a couple of copies of GeNa Pro when it launches later on today. I'll give you the codes and you can share them later. But yeah.
Oh. All right, so you need to be a follower. You need to be a follower.
For followers.
Right, so you don't have to vote for them. But I love it. Yesterday, guys at Cinti Studios, you go, no, you have to vote for us if you want to win. if you don't vote, you don't win. So
yeah, that would be nice. Actually, go to the Unity Awards and show people where that is.
So while we do that, I'm just going to start the raffle. The raffle has started. So on the awards, best artistic tool, like I could have planned it straight away. So these assets stand out for the ability to support artists and creators all kinds by doing some of the heavy lifting to support the creation of immersive game worlds. We chatted with Clayxels, Andrea, yesterday. He mentioned the genius that is the developer of Mudbun, but the not genius way he went about launching Mudbun. We don't know Stylized Water for URP. We do know Adam. So I know Adam, and now I know Andrea. I can't say who to vote for because I have to remain impartial. Adam's allowed to pitch for himself. So Adam, over to you. Why should people vote for Gaia Pro?
Because, at some point I want to progress from being a bit more than Meryl Streep. I don't want to be Meryl Streep anymore. No, if you like our products and you want to support us, the fact that we even got nominated to be in that category is a huge honor for us. One day it'd be nice to win one, but if we don't, well, we'll continue to do what we do. As I've sort of shown people today, we're hugely committed to bringing more and more and better products to the ecosystem as a whole. We're now starting to expand the markets we move into as well. We need to do this because the asset store it makes it difficult to grow or even to survive at times. So it would be lovely to get that honor, but even actually being at the table is reward enough.
That's lovely. If that's not enough to garner some votes, I don't know what would be. What would be your favourite award to go for? Best asset store publisher, I assume. Or would you rather win an award for a specific product?
What's actually important to me is not awards. It's actually for us to be able to do what we do. Once upon a time, I used to do enterprise websites, and I did love it. Whereas actually this stuff I genuinely love. So what's important to me is actually to be able to make sure that myself and the Procedure Worlds team continue to get to do what we do. Asset Store Publisher of the Year, there's some awesome publishers there. So I would vote for a bunch of them. It doesn't matter really. It's just a nice thing. I get just as much enjoyment out of seeing somebody write a review for us as I possibly get a bit more enjoyment out of this. But no, actually, that's not true. Some days you wake up and somebody's done this 1-star review and they've torn you to shreds because of, I don't know, some obscure thing. Sometimes it's deserved, sometimes it's not. The ones that actually, the things that when I get up in the morning and I read 5-star reviews and somebody tells me how we've impacted their life in a positive way, that's the stuff that makes me happy.
No, I 100% what you mean. I get stuff like that.
That review is a perfect one from Empire Soft Nathan. That's a guy that's basically said, hey, I've been using this for a long time and I really appreciate the fact that you guys are continually improving your product. So those sorts of reviews, those sorts of things make me happy because it's nice to know how you're actually helping people.
Now we've got 40 seconds left. So do ! raffle if you haven't. Remember, you need to be a follower. If you haven't clicked follow, then you're not going to win anything. So it's completely pointless. There you go. 3 hours ago, 4 stars. Very interesting asset, powerful and fast. But having problems with URP though. The trees, plants, and rocks are all pink.
That's because they haven't run the upgrade process. A review of the Quick Start Guide or any of our tutorials would solve that.
Okay, so after the stream, Brian, you can go and update
the Unity process, but we actually have customized shaders for our terrain. So that's easily solved. They just need to reach out to us and ask us.
Long-term user, late 2020 upgrade. I've been using this product since version 1 and recently took advantage of the Pro grade while it was on sale. Unlike many asset packages, the update process from the very stale 1 version was well documented and actually worked. The new asset's clean, well built, seems to make good use of Unity's component-based design paradigm, making it easy to integrate with existing tooling. No need to learn complicated API architectures or patterns. If you use Unity scripting, then it's heaps easy to use. Also grabbed Ambient Skies, which amplifies the project's impressive new look. Good job, team. Good luck with the awards. Josh is in the chat. Any planned updates to Amplify Skies?
So Amplify Skies, it's one of those interesting things. We have a bunch of basically Amplify Skies. It does what it's supposed to do, which sort of makes it easy to make nice skies in Unity. And it's got like 30 or 40 odd post-processing profiles for different looks. There's some other stuff that I can't talk about because it's still secret squirrel.
Oh.
But if we end up doing what we were evaluating doing, we're going to take this to a whole another level. So it's like let me just say, we want to continue to improve all of our products to make sure that they work together as an integrated whole.
It's always better to have an integrated whole, mate. It helps you in the long run. Shall I pick the winners of Gaia Pro?
I think you should.
Shut a drum roll. The first winner is Pete Ski Kamagi Gigi. Pete, hit me up on the Discord. Well done. Congratulations, Pete. I was gonna say you better be following after all this time.
That's right, and we expect a vote too. I'd say. So it's just I've got another saying, but I can't say it.
Has Pete realised that he's won? I can't wait for him to speak up. There we go. I voted a long time follower. Well done. Next winner is Ice-tastic. Ice-tastic, who complained earlier that he missed out. Ice-tastic has won Gaia Pro. So yesterday, Ice-tastic won something, and today, Ice-tastic has won Gaia Pro.
Fantastic.
Fantastic,
Congratulations.
Ice-tastic. Oh, this rhymes. It rhymes, Adam. It rhymes.
All
And it's
right,
still
so
here.
let's do a couple for GeNa Pro. We've shown you some amazing stuff. Hopefully people found it interesting. And two lucky people get a copy for free just as soon as we publish it.
Just as soon as it goes live in 6 weeks' time.
No, we are planning to do it later today.
Just as soon as you get off the stream.
Well, I'm going to take a break for a moment and then
Have a wee. Have a drink. Have a drink.
Tonight I'm going to have a drink, I think.
So what's the upgrade cost between GeNa 2 and GeNa Pro?
So GeNa 2 is going to be GeNa Pro is going to be $289, the same cost as Gaia Pro. And at the moment, it's going to launch for half of that at $144, same 50% sale as the other stuff that's on sale. And then if you're upgrading from GeNa 2, we're going to cut that by 50% again. So the upgrade price is $70.
And how long is that for?
It's for the duration of this sale, which I think ends in the 7th of January.
Wow. That's enough time for people who missed out to get it.
Yeah. There you go. GeNa was an awards almost winner.
Oh.
GeNa Pro. GeNa, like as mentioned, it used to be my favorite product. GeNa Pro just takes that to a whole.
Tell you what, I am ridiculously impressed of the leap from GeNa to GeNa Pro. I mean,
it's a big leap.
It's not like you would expect, the gradual progression. It's a massive night and day. It's ridiculous.
It's essentially from the ground up rewrite. Well, like we've maintained some of the code base, but only a small part of it. And as I mentioned, it's the beginning of where we're going in the future with the whole large world, geospatial, all that sort of stuff.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Is it not open to abuse, though, with the upgrade path?
Yes, it is. So I would take advantage of that before before the sale ends.
So people buy GeNa 2.
If you wanted to get GeNa Pro, you could buy GeNa 2 today and upgrade for another $70, which would make $90 or $95, which is cheaper than $144 buying it from scratch.
Exactly.
So what we wanted to do with this is actually say thank you to our existing customers. So if you happen to become an existing customer in the next few weeks, then there you go. There's a thank you. It's a very cost-effective way to get into it.
And I love the fact. Messy Coder, make sure to mention that you will need to delete GeNa 2 before importing GeNa Pro. Don't put it in the same scene, in the same project. There you go. So delete your GeNa 2 in your project and then put GeNa Pro in. Always back up your projects first. Always back up.
I guess the other thing is this is the first time GeNa Pro has been let out into the Wild West, and I'm sure people will find issues along the way. So getting into it cheaper now is good. If you have a few bugs because it's a first launch, then of course we're committed to getting them resolved quickly.
Manage your expectations, people. You're an early adopter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so people are going, announce the winner already. I don't like this new command that Fresh Meat created. He created !winner, in which people can harass me to announce the winner already. Adam, I get bullied. I get bullied by my own community. And make sure you're a follower. Make sure you are a follower. So, the winner is... The winner is Sanyo. Why isn't it coming out in the chat? Okay, 100%. Look, it's come up as the winner is Sanyo on my screen, but the robot has not announced it. I can do a screenshot and put it in. Hang on. You know what? Because no one's going to believe me. No one's going to believe me. Hang on.
And the winner is the Messy Coda.
Look, exactly. Look.
Surprise.
Hang on. Where is it? Monitor 2. There. Look. Okay? There he is. There's his name. I'm not lying. It's there. Okay?
Congratulations, Sanyo.
I'll come and see. Okay. Oh, why did that setting got changed? Okay. Next one is people protesting. Congrats. I'm sure it isn't rigged. Look. I swear it's not rigged. You know me. I don't rig things. If I wanted to rig things, I could, but I don't. Actually, you know what? If I wanted to, I could go off stream and beg Adam for another copy and say I will do deviant things to your goldfish for you if you can give me a copy for Sanyo.
Many things can be achieved with a vote.
I can guarantee you would win. Wizards Don't Code has just won. And I would like to point out.
Oh, really?
That Wizards Don't Code has written in chat, "We trust you, Messi," and the robot has just picked him.
Oh, well, that's funny.
I
know Wizards has actually seen this, and the wizard, and he thought it was pretty cool, I think.
So, congratulations to the winners, Sanyo and Wizards. Everyone who hasn't won, don't worry because Adam's not the last. So what day are we today? 15. Okay. Tomorrow, which is now today, we've got 210, who's the developer of MLAPI, who actually works for Unity. Everyone wins a copy of MLAPI. Jason Booth, Microsplat. 17th, we've got Code Respawn, who does Dungeon Architect, and Reign of Darkness. We know that fellow. It's Brian and Tyler. Then we've got Kinematic Soup with Scene Fusion, which is amazing. A lot of people are excited for that. Unity creator and Twitch streamer, Callow Creation. On the 20th, we've got former creative director of DayZ, Brian Hicks. And 21st, we've got Unity tutorial legend, teacher, mistress of the code, Penny from Holistic 3D. On the 22nd, we've got Nathaniel Dorderson, Dogmatic, and More Mountains. On the 23rd, we've got Neo FPS, which is from the Underlords Games, and he'll be playing about with Neo FPS and also with Rayfire. And on the 24th, I'm aiming time off. And I'd like to remind everyone in chat, if you have somebody to thank for GeNa, Gaia, Pegasus, any of these assets, go over to Nathaniel Dorderson and thank him for the first version of Terrain Composer being so confusing to use that it forced Adam to go out and make his own because he couldn't work out how to use it. So if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have had Gaia. Happy days. And I've said that. I had Nathaniel on the stream before, and I said I had to apologise. I rag on you for quite a bit about how Terrain Composer 1 was, and he goes, "Look, even I would struggled to remember how to use Terrain Composer 1," and I was like, "Well, hope the rest of us." So Terrain Composer 2 was far better. Was a far more user-friendly interface. But yeah,
they made an amazing game too. That was incredible.
We played about it when he came on the stream. It was more about playing that game than anything else. We were supposed to be checking out his assets, and I spent the entire time playing the game, making a drone and playing that game. It was a very, very nice game, and that's the other thing I love about the asset store. And I remind people that I did a live stream where it wasn't just Adam. It was and Nathaniel was going to come onto that, but he couldn't make it. Let me find it. Messy Coda, Unity, Terrain podcast. I think that was the codes that I put in there. So I interviewed Adam and 3 other asset developers, terrain asset developers, and I thought I was very clever. Okay, I thought, you know what? I'm getting all of these people together. I'm going to start something, like some hostility. I'm going to start off. I'm going to go viral because it's going to kick off in here. And this is where I'm going to make my name. Did it work like that? No, it didn't.
That was a good session.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why that didn't happen is because they all like each other, and they all got on, and it all became like a love fest, talking about how great each other's work was, things they had in common, gripes they all had with different things Unity were doing, and it it literally was all of them enjoying the company and being on the stream together. So yeah, my
it's an interesting thing. Like, no tradesman just has one tool, and a good tool then inspires another good tool, which inspires another good tool, and it's better for everybody. So the interesting thing is and I see this in fanboys, which I have very little time for. It's basically, there's no reason to disrespect another tool. It's actually all part of the ecosystem, and most people buy them all anyway. Yeah. So I'm always a big fan of support the other guy. Right? The more we succeed as a group, the better it is for everybody.
Definitely, 100%. But couldn't have said it better if I tried.
Yeah.
Mate, thanks for coming on. You're a legend as always. Congratulations
Thanks,
to the winner, mate. You're going to be coming on back in the new year, no doubt.
Probably be here again at some point. Yeah, I might show you some of the new biome stuff. It's really, really cool.
Oh, I can't wait. Hopefully, in the new year, you're going to be a winner as well.
Well, yeah, hopefully. It's always fun for me looking. It's a privilege to work with such a talented team, and then they do stuff and they go, much like, I'm sure a lot of people here are going, I want it. And it's like, is it ready yet? Because I want it. So yesterday we were looking at trying to get another biome ready for this demo, and Bruno was doing amazing stuff, but it just wasn't quite ready. But it's really interesting. We always try and do the best we can in the time we've got, and some things, like, we don't always actually show off our tools to the true power that an artist would. So having an artist in the team now is really, really damn cool. So I will start to show screenshots of the new stuff that's coming. You can already do it now. The reason we don't tend to show it is because I'm just don't have enough talent as an artist or enough time to.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling, buddy. I know that one. Don't worry, we've all been there. That's why you have more talented people working for you, so you don't have to do it. That's
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be that way, but it hasn't worked out. What it's worked out is it's just work for me.
Well, mate,
but it's amazing to be a part of something. I think we have something very special in our company. The people are incredible. They're all super dedicated. Everybody cares. It's a wonderful thing.
So we've got, actually, I can't believe let's spam Messi's Discord with results as soon as we get our codes. I don't know what that means. I'd like to take this opportunity. We've got Procedural World's team in the chat. Thank you all. I like, as a user, as a customer. Yes, I am actually a customer. I have spent my money on Procedural World's assets. I think all but one or two assets I was gifted. I had them for a couple of stuff for the reviews, like the sector stuff. But all the other stuff, I actually paid my money like the rest of you. To which I remind Adam every now and again as well. So I actually bought those assets. I wasn't gifted those. I bought those. And I was, like some of you will be when GeNa 2 Pro comes out, an early adopter. And when you are an early adopter, I think it's a great way to show your appreciation, because it just means that the team can carry on making more stuff because you can pay their wages. And so thank you to all of the team from Proc World who are in. I've had the fortune of getting to know a few of you over a few months and over a few years, and you are beautiful badgers. And you have to be to put up with Adam, I have to say. So congratulations on that as well.
Yesterday we had a bug, and I could feel my blood pressure rising. And I go to Pete. Feels like you guys are trying to kill me. And he goes, "Is it taking you this long to work it out?" But you know, we've nailed those few bugs, and I'm really looking forward to the GeNa Pro release. It's just fun. That's the bottom line. It's a fun product.
Mate, I'm blown away by it. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah, we sort of wanted to do a bit of a Hail Mary. We put a lot of effort into it, and it's just getting warmed up. Same as, you know, Gaia Pro is a very different product now than it was when it launched about nearly 2 years ago now. And we still have plans for Gaia Pro. So it's one of those products that's just going to get better and better.
What, Chapter? Messi, let him go. He said he wanted a little rest before click and release. Let the man go. I need to play. Yes, I'm going to let him go. Okay, so that he can go. Remind Adam about GeNa Pro Beta.
Yeah, look, that's just what the one of my guys who's worked his absolute heart out on this product. We know there's still a few rough edges in some places and saying, call it a beta, call it a beta. It's a first release, and you're getting it at a discount. It may have a few teething issues, but even if it does, it'll still do a lot of stuff for you. And, you know, over time, we'll make it better and better.
So it's not a beta, but over time, it will be a beta.
It will be better and better.
I think that's good. I think that's good enough. And on that note, Adam, you go have a rest. Everyone from Proc Worlds, you go and wash your hands and tidy yourselves up. And I see what you did there. Yeah, exactly. I see what you did there. Mate.
Well, and I just want to say thanks for having me again, and for the opportunity to show off our stuff. Really appreciate what you do for the community, and I love seeing how it's growing and growing. It's awesome.
Cheers, bud. And thank you've been very supportive over the years, and even prior to this persona. So yeah, there's a few people we used to be in the Skype groups. Quite a few of you in the Skype groups. Tila, one of them. Adam. There's a few others that prior to me being the Messy Coder, I just had my normal Skype name, and over on on the Uma forums as well. So it's this stream kind of grew out of people asking me to help them with assets, and it kind of spiraled out of control. And I grew an afro hair from a bald head from the first video, as you remember. And people like Adam were incredibly supportive. Even when I was doing the first live dev interview, I was saying to Cinti Mike, Adam was going to be my first live dev interview, but he couldn't make it, so he got replaced with Cinti Mike in the last second. It could have been my first ever interview. It could have been with Adam.
There you go. Let the side down at the last moment.
You made up for it later. You made up for it later, buddy. Well, I'm going to let you go because everyone's going to kick me in the nuts if I don't let you go. So catch you later, mate.
Have a good one. See you, everybody.
What a lovely badger. I have to now disconnect 2 sessions. If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now, and down below there's that big juicy subscribe button, and right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.